What a Indy 250 week it has been on AG the channel. But tonight, we make history for the first time ever. We are running at Anderson Speedway, about an hour north of the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and 44 drivers will try to tackle on this quarter-mile racetrack, and we'll see on who ends up winning the very first Little 250. Heat races, LCQ, a Consolation Race, and of course the 250 lap feature. It's gonna be a fun night here in Anderson Speedway. Hello everyone, it is Nathan Staken here, and welcome to Anderson Speedway, and welcome to a fun night of action here for the first time ever. The Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. 44 of the best drivers on HE the channel in late models going to do battle for several times around here on this little quarter mile, and just a couple of days before the actual Indy 250. And we got Alex and Caleb up here in the booth. Welcome to this quarter mile speedway known as Anderson Speedway.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for putting this great event on. I am very excited for what we're going to see here tonight, and this is actually a lot like the Smooth Fest in a way. We have 4 LCQs, we have 4 heats, and then 2 LCQs, and then the feature event. You added on a Consolation Race for those who didn't make it on. We're going to have a lot of fun racing here tonight around this quarter-mile racetrack, and what a great addition to Indy 250 week. And what I really love about this is that everyone got to make their own custom cars for this. I have my own driver with my own custom car in this race. Made an exception for myself here. Excited to see Benny Watson run. It's going to be a fun night, and I hope you all enjoy what is to be a great night here for the inaugural Little 250 here on AG the channel.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we've got in store tonight. I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time. Honestly, ever since it was announced, because this is a first here for the channel. Of course, like Alex mentioned, the format kind of similar in a way to the Melody Smooth Fest, but I think the racing is definitely going to be very unique. Of course, like also Alex touched on, everybody is in their own custom cars, which I think honestly is very charming. Gives this event a really nice touch, and of course, late models here at the Anderson Speedway, a first here for the channel. We're really looking forward to seeing how this will all play out, but it's going to be a really fun night here from the Anderson Speedway.
No doubt about it. It's going to be a very fun night. And honestly, it's a very simple format, but it's going to be interesting on who ends up making it on into the main event. 4 heat races, 25 laps each, and with this being a quarter-mile track, it's a 12-second lap time here, so you don't have a lot of time all night long. And especially in a feature, it might be 250 laps, but it's only going to take an hour, so you gotta get the way up through these races very quickly. 11 cars in each heat. The top 5 will advance into the feature the easy way, and then 6th, 8th, 10th go to LCQ number 1, and then 7th, 9th, and 11th go to LCQ number 2, and we will explain the LCQs when we get there, but it's definitely going to be a lot of action and a lot of fun here tonight, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and most likely, depending on what we see, we might bring back for next year. But enough chit chat. Here are the drivers here in heat race number 1. The order of the heat races were determined based off of how signs went. So, Travis Grantham was the very first person that signed up, so he is on pole for heat race number 1, and alongside him is Alexander Moe in the number 48. Roll number 2 is the 13 of Hallie Anderson Jr., and the 89 of Mr. Edge, Nicholas Sanbadillo. Roll number 3 is the number 9 of Bryce Egan and the 38 of Aaron Lutz. Roll number 4 is the 8 of Tanner Pun and the 30 of Mari Delamati. First time driver, I'm pretty sure. And then the number 62 in row 5 of Joey Hightower and the 5 of Aaron Abel. And then rounding out the grid in heat race number 1 will be the number 17 of Logan Williams. Alright, Caleb and then Alex, who do you guys think will win heat race number 1?
I honestly think I kind of like where that number 13 of Hallie Anderson Jr. starting on the inside there of row number 2. I think the inside is definitely where you want to be here at this racetrack. So, like I said, I think Hallie might be in a really good spot to potentially get this heat win.
I think in these heat races, we're going to see ourselves a little bit of a difficulty to pass. Once you get in the feature event, got all those lap cars, it's going to be fun. So I think Travis is going to have a great shot. First to sign up, he's going to get this heat win and start on pole for the feature event later on tonight in that '05 machine.
Not bad. Couple of pits. We'll see what ends up happening. Like you said, the winner will start first, and there's gonna be a lot of action here tonight for the first ever Little 250. 4 heat races, 11 drivers each, and the key number 5, the top 5, will guarantee a spot into the feature. Travis Crampton and Alexander will lead us to the green. Huge thanks to everybody that has helped out with all these customs, and the time is here. Travis Crampton and Alexander will win flag racing for heat race number 1, the first ever Little 250 night. Lap number 1 was led by Travis Crampton and Hallie Anderson Jr. up to second, and it's going to be a very fun night. It's going to be the bottom, but the outside lane, they tend to run all over the place here, but the place you have to make the pass is on the bottom. Bryce Egan making 1 for second on Hallie Anderson Jr., and like I said, these laps are going to go by really fast putting on the inside for third.
Yeah, and that outside lane is not where you want to be at all. And Alexander already outside of a transfer spot, and that's going to be the way it is. Of course, these heat races are very short, so not much time to work your way back up through the front. Good run there for Tanner Parton in the 8 machine. Here comes the 62 as well, looking to the inside. Get some great racing kind of back in the field, but Travis Crampton pulling away in that 05 machine for now.
48 still continues to slip back there on that outside lane. The inside lane is just absolutely where you want to be, and the 48's kind of just gotten freight trained up there where everybody started so close together. Here for second, we got the number 8 of Tanner Parton trying to take a peek there underneath the 13. Hallie Anderson Jr. is going to take that spot away. But yeah, Travis Crampton doing a really good job up in the race lead. You've got Bryce Egan and Joey Hightower there, both of the Coca-Cola cars. I think both those cars look awesome, by the way. They're going at it right now for the 4th position. And yeah, we got some battles potentially kind of going on here throughout the field, but up front, honestly, so far, it's been lights out for that 05 at Crampton.
It's been lights out, and it's kind of ironic that both of the Coca-Cola cars were in the same heat, but for Joey Hightower, he has to watch out because Local MC might start at 11th, but he was on the inside lane, and he is in the 6th place spot, and he's trying to close in to Joey Hightower, but the top 5 really breaking away, and this is what we were kind of expecting. These heat races and LCQs will probably be fairly normal, but once you get to the Consolation Race and the feature, with 22 cars on the racetrack, lap cars will be a factor as the 5 of April is destroyed, and they might got turned somewhere on this quarter mile.
And no caution for it either. That is a tough break there for Aaron Abel, and he's going to end up having to go to the LCQ if they can get that car fixed. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case for him. Tough break there, but we got a lot of action going on, even though we only have 11 cars on this quarter-mile racetrack. Already past the halfway point of this first heat.
Tanner Parton's been slowly closing into Crampton these past couple of laps. He's gotten the gap down to under a second. Crampton pulled away just a little bit that last time by, but Parton trying to do everything he can to close into that 05 of Crampton, but he's probably going to have to work fast because this time by, it's already 10 laps to go here from heat number 1. It's going by really fast, but Tanner Parton trying to do everything he can to close in and maybe go for this heat win and potentially go for the pole for the feature.
Absolutely, and we're going to say this all night long. Things fly by here, and unfortunately some of these drivers are going to have to go into the LCQs, and some big ones like Alexander and Abel, same with Dio in the 7th place spot. Logan Williams trying to close into Joey Hightower here, and Loops as well, and that's just the name of the game. And we have 44 cars that signed up, or 44 drivers I should say that signed up. This track only holds 22, and unfortunately 22 drivers will not make it. Hightower is still in the last transfer spot, but Logan Williams is trying to close in with 6 laps to go in heat race number 1.
Yeah, Logan Williams is going to do all he can to make it in so that he has a shot at this feature win later on the night. I think once we get to the feature, it's going to be completely different with 250 laps around this place. That is going to be a wild race, but definitely you want to be on the inside lane. And we're going to see that throughout these heats and LCQs. So these guys who signed up in those perfect positions going to be in a good position later on the night, especially Travis Crampton in N05. Looks like he's going to pull away with heat number 1 right here.
Ready to go. Tanner Barton closed in a little bit that last time by, but at this rate he's running out of time. Anderson Jr. got really swirly there off of turn number 2. Anderson Jr. needs to be real careful. Don't want to bend it here from a transfer position with just a couple of laps to go. Barton closed in once again, but Travis Crampton, he's just been smooth and perfect so far this heat. White flags in the air. Travis Crampton looking to bring it home for the Heat 1 victory.
Isn't this I want both my World Cup Series draws are going to get 1-2 in heat race number 1. Crampton is in. Parton, Howard Anderson Jr., and then Bryce Egan and Charlie Hightower will barely hang on. Logan Williams was closing in, but it's not going to be close enough for that 17 machine. And he will go to LCQ number 1. Same with Dio in LCQ 2. Lutz in LCQ number 1. Alexander Rowe in heat race in LCQ number 2. And then the 30 and the 5 as well. What a heat race early on, and that was some good stuff. And unfortunately, Unable did have an incident. You guys saw that in the corner of the screen. Crampton, Parton, Anderson Jr., Egan, Hightower all make it in. And then Logan Williams and Lutz and Molly DeMari will be in a LCQ all together. And then Nicholas Samadillo, Alexander Rowe, and Unable will be in a LCQ as well together. What's the final thoughts of Heat 1, and what do you think we might see for the rest of these heat races?
Well, your 2 Wawa Cup Series drivers finished 1-2, and Caleb's 2 Wawa Cup Series drivers failed to make it in. They were the first 2 that failed to make it in, so I think that's a little fascinating. The good thing for both of them, they'll have the pole position in their LCQ, so that's good for them to have an opportunity at winning those races. We'll see if that ends up being the case, but yeah, it's going to be fun when we get 22 cars on the racetrack, but we're going to have some fun with these heat races, and it's going to be a very, very fun night here at Anderson Speedway.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what the rest of the night will have to offer. A good way to start things off here so far, though, from the little 250. Good job there for Travis Crampton. Once he got out there to the lead, he just absolutely locked in and started pulling away. Parton gave him a run for his money there towards the end, but unfortunately just ran out of time there. And also a great effort by Anderson Jr., Egan, and Hightower. They're going to be in the feature event. And William Samadillo, Luke's Rowe, Demata, and Abel, they'll have to fight for their position in the LCQ. The good thing, though, if you are Logan Williams and Nicholas Samadillo, like Alex mentioned, is that they are, I believe, going to be on the pole position for their respective LCQs. So, considering what we saw from our pole sitter here in the heat, that could definitely give them a bit of a booster there.
Absolutely, and they might not have made it here the easy way, but I definitely think that they could have a really good shot here in the LCQs. Let's go ahead and get to heat race number 2 at Anderson Speedway. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway, and it is time for heat race number 2 in the little 250. And the drivers in this one and the starting lineup are as follows: Stuart Glenn in the number 23, who made about 14 or 15 paint schemes for this event, so appreciate Stuart for that one. And then Jack Carson, the number 57. The number 51 of Ludovic Chouette, and the 48 of Keegan Thompson. The 86 of Ryan Dwyer, and the 54 of Michael Lewis. The 07 of Owen Miles, and the 95 of Joshua Neely. And then the number 8 of Bernardo De Oliveira, and the 14 of Lynn Kochma. And then last driver in heat number 2 was Bucky Campbell, and the number 98. Okay, Allison and Caleb, who are the pits in heat race number 2?
You cannot spell greatness without GRT. Stuart Grattan wins heat 2.
Oh yeah, on the menu here for heat number 2, we've got Grattan with a side of Grattan, so I believe I'm going to go there in the row number 2 with the number 51 Ludovic Charette to get it done.
Glenn and Glenn. We'll see if they can both make it. Of course, Tampon and Crampton were both first and third and moved on easily in heat number 1. And we'll see what ends up happening. And once these guys got split out in heat number 1, it was kind of hard to pass. We'll see what happens here in heat number 2. And honestly, in case you didn't realize, the reason why we are doing pits before we even roll off, we only have about 20 seconds until we go green. So, it's going to be fun. Hopefully we don't see what happens to Unable in this one. And it's your Glenn. And Jack Haas released the green heat race number 2 is underway. A little bit of contact at the start. And it will be team owner and teammate in the World Cup Series 1-2. Here comes the A6. That is Ryan Durrani and Owen Miles. And then side by side for the last spot, the A of Bernardo de Oliveira and Jack Haas.
And once again, that outside lane just had absolutely nothing. As you got Durrani going for second on Ladovic, and you got de Oliveira to the inside of Owen Miles for a position right there. But Jack Haas started on the outside pole. He's going nowhere fast. I think he finally found his way to the inside right there. And it's just no grip on that outside lane. It's going to make the feature and the Consolation very interesting. But with only 11 cars on the racetrack and how short of a race it is, very hard to work away. Here comes Leonard Koshmer making a move there on Owen Miles. Miles slipping back. And they got some great racing back in the mid-pack. Maybe not as much of a battle for the lead in these heats, but they're definitely racing very, very hard back in the field. And Koshmer's going to go to the inside of the 98 for that last transfer spot. This 14's looking really quick here.
Kochmer now in a position to make it into the feature event as Kochmer there went wide. Bernardo.
Oh no!
Radovic's in the wall!
Uh-oh.
Oh, Ladovic is not going to be happy about that, and now Kochmer is going to be the last car in, but now he's under fire from the 07 of Owen Miles.
Oh my goodness, did that just happen? Ladovic was in and now she is not. Now these two are side by side, the 07 and the 98. And right in front, there's Ladovic. And Ladovic might be seen wet after that one.
Oh, you think? Wow. What a moment right there. Ladovic Charette is not going to make it on through the heat. That's for sure. You know, we've had 2 wrecks. We've had no cautions. That's kind of fascinating here. But got a great battle here. How about Bucky Campbell? First ever start on the channel right here to the inside of the 07 of Owen Miles. Miles continuing to slip back right there. That's for the last transfer. And that 98's got it right now.
Ladovic Charette back on the racetrack, though. Maybe trying to run down Kochmer. Hope that's not the case, but we'll see. But now, good run going for the 98 of Bucky Campbell as now Joshua Neely tries to look to the inside there of the 07 of Owen Miles. It's going to take that spot away. And now looking to try and go after the 98 of Bucky Campbell, who goes to the outside there as he turns 3 and 4. Joshua Neely closing in a little bit there in the 95, trying to run him down. Haven't really talked about the front much because honestly it's pretty quiet up there. Stuart Grattan continuing to try and pull away there from the 86 of Ryan Durrani. Bernardo de Oliveira is kind of just chilling there in third, but maybe being ran down here by the number 14 of Leonard Kochmer, and Bucky Campbell just trying to hang on to that final transfer spot for dear life.
Very calm up front. Might have a battle for third between the A and the 14 of Kochmer and the 14 and de Oliveira and the A. And honestly, this is the thing that we have to really watch out for all night, is this battle for the 5th and final transfer spot. It's like Neely is dropping back. Haas moves his way past Owen Miles, and Owen Miles is not gonna like that. And did I forget to mention that this is just a quarter mile? This is a pure short track as you can get, and Owen Miles not happy with Jack Haas. This is just outside of the top 5, and it's looking pretty good for Stuart Grattan in the number 23, copy and paste from Travis Crampton essentially, but Durrani from 5th to 2nd. De Oliveira from 9th to 3rd, Kochmer from 10th to 4th, and then as of now, the 98 from 11th to 5th here in heat number 2.
You want to start in the back of the field for these races because you get more of an opportunity to get back to the inside, and you look at Jack Koch to start the outside pole for this race. Well, he's back in 8th now.
to this time by. There'll be 3 laps to go here from heat number 2. It's honestly kind of starting to scrunch up a little bit here from second on back as De Oliveira is trying to run down the 86 of Durrani, while Kochmer not too far behind the 80 of De Oliveira. While Durrani's kind of hanging a steady pace, Stuart Gratton kind of staying about a second back. Yeah, Bucky Campbell doing a really good job there in the 5th position, holding on to that spot, but he's got to hold on here for 2 more laps, but these laps will probably go by pretty quickly here from the Anderson Speedway.
Absolutely, Stuart Gratton's going to easily win heat number 2, but the battle might be on for second. And every spot in these heat races are, I believe, 4 positions difference in the starting lineup before the feature. Gratton will win, and then Durrani will be in second, De Oliveira in third, Kochmer in fourth, and then Bucky Campbell from 11th to 5th in the number 98. Whew. 2 heat races, 2 calm races up towards the front, but each had a moment, and that one especially had a great battle for the final transfer spot for about half of it. And Stuart Gratton will start second. I don't know if that's really want to be for the feature, but he will start second later on tonight. What a heat number 2.
Ladovic had a chance at making it into the show, and now she's really, really going to have to work for it in the LCQ. That is such a shame, and who knows how these next 2 heats are going to go, but we could see something quite similar as we move through here at the Anderson Speedway.
Never let me cook with picks again. Yeah, tough break there for Ladovic. We're only 2 heats in, and we've already had a lot of classic short track beef here, with Aaron Abel getting turned there in heat number 1 by the 48 of Alexander Rowe, and now Ladovic getting hooked by the 14 of Leonard Kochmer into the pit lane. And yeah, she definitely had a really good shot to make it into the feature just through the heat, but she's going to have a bit of a hill to climb now, but I have to see how she does in the LCQ. But great race by Stuart Gratton, getting it done here in heat number 2, and great job by everybody who did advance. Ryan Durrani, Bernardo De Oliveira, Leonard Kochmer, and especially Bucky Campbell. Considering how crazy that fight for the transfer spot was during the first half of that race, he really had to fight for that one.
Absolutely, and I feel like this is a preview of what's come for the rest of the night. Let's go ahead and go to heat race number 3 here in the Little 250. Welcome to heat race number 3 here at Anderson Speedway. And after a couple of chaotic heat races so far, let's see what heat race number 3 has in store. On the pole for this one, we got the development driver of Matthew Hubert of Kasumi Takashi, and then number 27, Gainbridge car for the Gainbridge Little 250. That's ironic. The 55, Carson Miller, and then in row number 2, the 73 of Colby Light, and the 7 of Duncan Ward. The 45 of David Ditson, and the 34 of Henry J. Brown. And then we got the number 99 of Campbell Marsh, and the 64 of Avery Alford. And then the 88 of Anthony Hernandez, and the number 6 of Bradley Ream. And then running out the grid is the number 77 of Marcus Glitch. Well, it didn't work out for you the last heat, Caleb, so I'm going to let you pit first this time. Who's the pit for heat race number 3?
Now it's my turn to finally pick the pole sitter. But you know what? I'm going to go with the row number 2 once again. I'm going to go with the number 73 of Kobe Light to get it done here in heat number 3. Maybe we'll see a bit of a change in hand for the race lead this time around.
It's the Gainbridge car. It's the Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. Let's go Kasumi Takashi with the race win in heat number 3.
Well, so far the poster of these heat races have won said heat race, so we'll see what ends up happening for heat race number 3 of the Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. I've not said that enough, but this race is presented by Gainbridge, so shout out to Gainbridge and the Gainbridge car, and we'll see what happens for heat race number 3. We've had a moment in heat 1, we had a moment in heat 2. Will we have a moment in heat number 3? We just have to wait and see. Pace car down to pit road, and Kasumi Takashi and Carson Miller will lead us to the green. And we're green flag racing for heat race number 3. Goes start for the top two. A little bit of a close moment with David Dixon right there and Carson Miller. And a
Carson
little bit.
Miller, he had a chance to go to the inside there, and he didn't take it.
That's surprising.
Marsh going to take third. He got some contact right there. There's Hernandez on the inside lane, and Carson Miller he's got to be careful. He don't want to let that inside lane open up and slip all the way back. 95 machine right there. No, that is not the 95. That's the 50. What number? That's the 45. That looks like 95. That's David Dixon there, and he's going to take that last transfer spot away from Carson Miller.
Marsh trying to go after second after the 73 of Kobe Light. They're still going at it back here as now David Dixon looks underneath the 88 of Anthony Hernandez. They bang doors coming down the front straightaway. Side by side for the fourth position. Dixon's going to take that spot away as Anthony Hernandez slips back into fifth. Currently sitting in the final transfer spot. A 77 Marcus Glitch up in the sixth position, looking to try and run him down. And the 55 Carson Miller slipped back to the seventh position. Still better off than a lot of the drivers that we've seen in the earlier heat, starting up on the outside, but he's still got a little bit of ground to make up here.
Absolutely, and that's not been rough running, starting on the outside in second place here tonight. Seen battles all over the place, still banging each other, and that's just typical short track racing on a quarter-mile track here tonight. Hernandez in the fifth spot, trying to take fourth away from David Dixon, trying to put Dixon on the bubble. And we're going to go side by side, and this is what I was talking about. It might be a little bit difficult to pass. These guys like to run the bottom or the outside lane when the single file, but if you go side by side, just do what Hernandez does and you will be good. Dixon now is on the bubble with Glitch not that far behind.
Yeah, Marcus Glitch is looking really strong in the 77. Carson Miller had a shot at getting that inside lane earlier on. He'd have a shot at making it in the feature here, and now he's in the seventh position. And halfway through this heat, that's a tough position to be in. You know, we've seen a wreck too in the past two heats. Well, we see one here in this heat. It's the longest we've gone without one to start out a heat at this point, so we may stay clean for this one.
Carson Miller trying to run down the 77 of Marcus Glitch here, while Glitch simultaneously tries to run down the 45 of David Dixon, who's trying to hold on to that final transfer spot. Simon Takashi doing a good job there out in the lead. Campbell Marsh with a really good run so far, up into the second position. Kobe Light hanging on to third, and fourth is the 88 of Anthony Hernandez. Dixon still trying to hold on, doing a good job right now, trying to maintain that gap back to the 77 of Marcus Glitch. He's got a pretty solid gap built up for the time being, but a couple mistakes, and that 77 of Marcus Glitch could be right there.
And it's easy to make a mistake. These guys like to run either the bottom or the second lane, but that second lane doesn't have as much grip as the bottom. And if these guys get stuck up top, then that will allow someone to close back in. But so far, it's looking pretty good for the 27, but we might see a battle for second here. Kobe Light closing in on that 99 of Marsh, and Hernandez is starting closing on the 73 and the 99.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting feature event once we get down to it, because we're going to have twice as many cars on this racetrack, but they've still been able to pass without the need for those lap down cars. And even though we haven't had a battle for the race lead, we've had some great races in these heat races midway through for the transfer spot and what have you. And keep in mind, each one of these positions worth 4 points worth 4 starting positions in the feature event. So we'll see what Hernandez can do right here, trying to get 4 more spots. And these guys will still start inside lane, which is exactly where you want to be for the feature event.
David Dixon kind of caught the wall there off of turn number 2, but still managed to keep the car straight and actually kind of managed to keep his momentum up. Anthony Hernandez there goes a little bit wide to turns 1 and 2, maybe going a bit of a higher lane and allowing David Dixon to close in. Dixon looking to get himself a spot as a buffer to the, the bubble zone, as he's trying to go after the 88 of Anthony Hernandez. But out front, it's going to be Kasumi Takashi taking the white flag here in heat number 3 as Dixon all over the back bumper of the 88 of Hernandez.
Gonna be close for this 4th spot. Takashi's gonna win side by side for the 4th spot. Dixon's gonna try and get there side by side. I think it's Dixon barely in the 4th spot, and then Hernandez will be in 5th. And what a job from Dixon, because that's gonna be a couple more starting positions in the feature by that much over Anthony Hernandez. Whew. Meanwhile,
definitely a fun race, as it always is.
Meanwhile, Takashi walked away with that one, and once again, the poster ends up being the race winner, and that's gonna be big. And Takashi could have a good shot at winning this one, starting 3rd in the feature. In the Campbell Motors, Kobe Light, David Dixon by barely the slimmest of margins over Anthony Hernandez. And then Marcus Glitch, Carson Miller, Bradley Ream, Avery Alford, Duncan Ward, and Henry J. Brown will all go into their respective heat races, LCQs I should say. And that one, we did have a caution. We did have a wet. We've not had a caution all night, I cannot speak, but we did have a wet that time. However, we did see a full finish for the 4th place spot, so looking forward to what we end up seeing here in the 4th and final heat, and then we will get to the 2 LCQs here tonight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to heat race number 4, the final one of the night. Welcome to the 4th and final heat race of the night. It's been a lot of fun so far, and we're just getting started. After this, we have 4 races down, but we still have 4 races to go here in the Little 250, and it's been a fun one. And let's introduce the final 11 drivers that are in this year's Little 250, and are trying to make it into the feature. We got Caleb Rose on the pole in the number 59, and Ben Watson alongside him in the 79. The number 03 of Matthew Burnett and the number 11 of Brian Perez. The 85 of Ace Racer and the 25 of Angel Gutierrez. The number 37 of Hergel Alonso and the 49 of Dylan Matthews. The number 19 of Alexis Selspin and the 33 of Local Dawn. And the running out of the grid and the 00 is Andrew Williams. So, Alex, this time you get to pit first. Who's the pit for the 4th and final heat race of the night?
I'm 3 for 3. I'm going 4 for 4. I'm going the man next to me. Caleb Rose is going to win this heat from the pole and from the booth. How does he do it?
I guess we'll have to find out. We'll see how it all goes down, but I've picked the inside row number 2 all night, and you know what? At least here in the heats, we'll do it one more time. Give me the number 03 of Matthew Burnett to get it done here in heat number 4.
You messed on such a good opportunity. I picked you. You should have picked me.
I'm sorry, you're on the outside lane, no offense.
Yeah, you're right.
That 2nd place in each of these seats have not been a place to be, so, Caleb does have a point there. We'll see what ends up happening. After this heat, we will go straight into the LCQ number 1 and LCQ number 2, and then it will be the big races of the night, the Consolation and the feature. Caleb Rose and Ben Watson on the front row. Very ironic front row based off of the sign-up order. And we'll see what happens in heat race number 4. The final heat race of the night is going from Anderson Speedway. Clean start, rolls out front, but not in 2nd. Now Watson needs to get to the bottom ASAP. Alonso gets a little bit loose though, and that's gonna maybe allow Watson to get down, but not quite. And now Selspin to the inside, almost turns Watson. Side by side, all over the place. Ace Racer all over the back bumper of Burnett for 2nd.
Yeah, and it's just the same thing we've seen all night long. That outside lane, that outside pole is not what you want to be. And yeah, Benny's slipping back. It's such a shame. Got that album dropping the night at midnight, and I don't think we're going to see it in the feature, which is a shame. How about Alexis Silsman, though? And I want to see Alexis Silsman in the feature because that, if you've been around, you know exactly what that scheme is all about. Matt's been having a lot of fun with Stewart's old development driver, and I'm loving seeing that at Alexis Silsman. And Benny continues to slip back, so that's it for him, which is a shame. But just as we said, you know, that pole there is where you want to be. And how about 59 of Caleb Rose? How about you, Caleb? You're winning. You're leading every lap. as we have seen with these guys from the pole in these heat races.
I'm cooking. And, yeah, shame to see Benny Watson fall back here early on in the going. Unfortunately, like we have seen it all night, kind of just the outside lane tax there. But he's gotten back down to the inside. It looks like he's already trying to make up some ground back there. So it is a short heat race, but it's still got a lot of time left in it. We'll have to see if he can maybe make up some of that ground. We'll just have to wait and see. But you got the number 85 of Ace Racer, who's moved his way up to second, and Alexis Selspin. It's been a lot of fun seeing the Selspin lore kind of grow and develop this season. And a great start to this heat from Alexis, moving up into the third position. You got Matthew Burnett in fourth, and right now Andrew Williams in the 00 currently holds the final transfer spot, but he might have a miracle here of the 37 of Hergel Alonso. And Benny, look at that. Your driver's making his way back up here. He could be within striking distance of making the race.
Might. I hope they tangle ahead of him there. You got Alonso there just on the outside looking in, and then you got... What number is that? 90? Oh, that's Andrew. That's Andrew Williams. Oh, boy.
Yep.
Oh, boy. I've jinxed Andrew hard enough this year. I don't know if I want to take his spot away from him here.
This would be really big for Andrew Williams, and trying to show up on his brother Logan did not make it into the feature. And he started in last, and Andrew as well. And he's trying the high side. That's not going to work out. And the man goes Hergel Alonso.
Oh, no.
And that is exactly what he was wanting.
And that's going to be
oh my.
Our first caution of the night in heat race number 4. Alonso's going to keep out of the wall. Good job for locking it down. But he's going to start from 11th now for that 37.
That was interesting. I think Benny might be the first one from the outside pole to actually advance in, because he's going to have a shot here on this restart, so we'll have to see. This could actually give Ace Racer or Tyler Salzman. I see that scheme and I think Tyler Salzman, okay? Alexis Salzman. Hey, Tyler Salzman, what did he do last night?
He did compete in the Sprint Series.
Yeah.
At Charlotte. Don't remember where he finished, but he did compete in that.
Well, I guess he didn't win then, but that's still cool to see.
Well, the pace laps are really short, along with everything else here at Anderson Speedway, so let's go ahead and see what happened for the first caution of the night in heat race number 4 for the 2025 Little 250. Here we go, this will happen to be our first caution in heat 4 and first caution of the night. And 1 and 2 Andrew Williams slid up the racetrack onto the outside wall, maybe. If not, it was very, very close. And then Hergel Alonso got into the corner panel, and Williams only did a little tap into the outside wall, and a good save from Hergel Alonso right there to keep it off of the guardrail or the wall. The very interesting pit road wall right there, and he's still gonna have a shot on this late race restart. He's gonna have a car. He's gonna have to go from 11th to 5th if he wants to make it on. But a good save from Hergel Alonso.
Well, Alonso and the 37. And Andrew Williams, these are two experienced drivers. Williams is the one that got up in the wall, and Alonso was trying to make the pass and just didn't do it correctly. He gets sent to the back of the field from that one. Tough break for Alonso, but maybe not a tough break for some of these guys on the restart here. They're going to have an opportunity to move up here. Going to be a very fun restart here from Anderson Speedway.
Absolutely, we've not seen one yet. And you'll see what ends up happening with our first restart of the night here in heat race number 4. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway after the first spin of the night and after the first caution. Hergel did a great job saving it. It has no damage, but he's going to restart in 11th position. And right now is Kasumi Takashi, Ace Racer, Alexis Selspin, Matthew Burnett, and Andrew Williams with the last spot. Ben Watson, the first one out, local to one right behind him. Back win for the first one restart of the night. And they goes way wide.
Oh, we got a battle for the lead. There goes Ace Racer. That's our first pass for the lead all night.
And they might go 3 wide for the last transfer.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
That caution just completely flipped everything on its head, and now we're not so much cooking anymore. Alexis Selspin is up into the second position, and they're going crazy around here for the final transfer spot, now being held by the 33 of Rigel Dorn. Here comes Benny Watson underneath Matthew Burnett looking to try and get
Benny's
back
got
up
a
there.
shot.
Rodwell goes a little bit wide. Watson's definitely got a shot here.
Oh, yeah, here he comes. Here comes
He's
Benny
looking
Watson to the
slow
inside. This is going to be tight right here. It's going to be 2 laps to go next time by for Benny.
About
And how
24
about Benny
seconds.
Watson trying to be the first outside?
Oh,
another
there goes
one. There goes
Burnett.
Burnett.
Oh, that's going to be a hard crash.
And that's going to end it.
Benny's in.
And by the skin of his teeth, Benny is in.
He did it. He beat the allegations. He made it. He made it from the outside pole. How about that? I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him right there.
Oh my goodness. I think all the other 3 races led up to that one. What a heat. Ace Racer will start 4th here tonight. So that will spin Andrew Williams from 11th to 3rd. And then Rose Mason as we... Okay, to be fair, I never had a caution in the race, so that's weird. But in testing we didn't see that. But Caleb gets 4th. And Ben Watson barely makes it in 5th. Tough play for Burnett. So he was in for the entire heat. And then just got spun right there. You guys will see what happened in the corner. But what a heat. What a heat.
Absolutely, what a heat. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And I feel bad for some of the guys right there. Because, you know, Matthew Burnett, Rogal Dorn actually had a very good shot. He overshot it, and Benny came to the inside of him right there on that 79. Ace Racer. We denied the name in the Indy 250, but Ace Racer kind of denied that too, and ended up getting the win here in this heat, and he'll start in the 4th position. Alexis Salzman's going to start 8th. Benny's going to start 20th. Caleb, you're in it as well, which is awesome. Andrew Williams made it on as well. How about that group of guys right there? It's Matt, Andrew, Caleb, and I advancing on with Ace Racer topping us all. That's pretty cool.
Man, what a heat to end off on. That was absolutely crazy. First time we had a caution all night, actually having 2 cautions to end up wrapping this thing up. But what a drive there for Ace Racer. Got going there off the restart past us and managed to walk away with the win. Alexis Selspin also moving on. Andrew Williams, myself, and Benny Watson. What a recovery from Watson. And, you know, I didn't pick him because I was afraid I might jinx him, but I guess it did all work out in the end for Benny, and just what a heat. That had a lot of great racing, a lot of action, and man, that's gonna set us up. That's gonna set us up great here as we head into the LCQs.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And every heat had a moment, and that one had 3 of them, and that was chaotic. And if there's anything that we learned for the rest of the night, guys, if we get some restarts, things might get a little bit wild. What a heat race number 4. And we still have 4 more races to go here tonight. Short and sweet for the heat races. And now is LCQ time. 12 drivers in each heat, but only the winner will start 21st from LCQ number 1, and only the winner from LCQ number 2 will start 22nd. Everyone else will go to the Consolation Race. Let's get to LCQ number 1 here at Anderson Speedway. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway, and now is some more very stressful moments here at Anderson Speedway. And for the rest of the night, the only place that matters is winning. If you win LCQ number 1, you're in the feature. If you win LCQ number 2, you're in the feature. For everyone else, they go to the Consolation Race. If you win the Consolation Race, you get a guaranteed spot in the next feature for the 2026 Little 250. And then honestly, the winner of the feature is the winner of the 2025 Little 250. We have 12 drivers in LCQ number 1 and 12 drivers in LCQ number 2. I'm going to ask you this, Alex and Caleb. What is going to happen, do you think, in these LCQs, knowing it's 50 laps, 12 drivers, and the only spot that matters is winning the LCQ?
Well, after what we saw in heat number 4, I think we're going to see even more of that here, considering we got 50 laps, and, you know, we got some guys out here. We got more cars. We got another car, 12 cars in the field instead of 11. The guys are going to be aggressive going forward, and they know only the winner advances on, which is going to make for a very intense race in both LCQs.
Definitely, this is going to be really exciting, especially coming off that absolutely incredible heat number 4 that we saw. But going into the LCQ, we're raising the car count, raising the lap count, and raising the stakes tremendously as well. Because, like you said, in the LCQs, it's first through fifth. Now, from here on out, only the first position matters. So everybody's going to be going at it for the race win here in these LCQs. It's going to be a lot of fun, and can't wait to see how these go down.
Absolutely, and it's going to make our life a little bit easier. We don't have to worry about 5th place, we just have to worry about the top 3. Also, you're going after for the race lead potentially. And without further ado, here are the 12 drivers in LCQ. Number 1 on the pole is Logan Williams, and alongside him is the number 95 of Joshua Neely. And 3rd is the 77 of Marcus Glitch, and 4th is Vogel Dawn. 5th is the 38 of Aaron Lutz, 6th is Jack Haas, 7th is Bradley Ream, 8th is Blaine Perez, 9th is the number 30 of Maria Damara, and 10th is Michael Lewis, 11th is Duncan Wood, and running out the 12 cars in LCQ number 1 is still Matthews, who kind of turned Matthew Burnett at the end of heat race number 4. Well, Caleb, this time I will let you pick first who do you think will win and get the 21st spot into the feature.
Well, it is a bit of a longer lap count, but I still think the place you want to start here in the LCQ is definitely on the pole position. So I think I'm going to go with my Wawa Cup Series driver, Logan Williams, to get it done here in LCQ number 1 and make the feature.
Well, we saw Ace Racer win from wherever he started. I can't remember where it was in heat number 4. So let's go kind of random here. We're gonna go with the 38 machine there of Aaron Lukes. I think Aaron Lukes is gonna get it there, and we're gonna see some chaos here in LCQ number 1.
Absolutely. For these 12 drivers, they know that this is the last shot to get in to the first ever Little 250 feature. And then 2nd through 11th, they will go to the Consolation Race to try to get a guaranteed spot into next year's event. But you don't want to think about next year. You want to think about right now. You want to think about tonight. And whoever wins LCQ number 1, they can sit until the feature. They will be a part in starting in 21st. Logan Williams and Joshua Neely will lead us to the green, and we'll race for LCQ number 1. Good jump from Logan Williams. We've seen the poster do a really good job all night long in the heat races, and we'll see if that translates into these LCQs. But a lot of these guys, they really want to make it in, and we'll see what Aaron Lutz can do all over the back bumper of Marcus Glitch. Glitch goes wide, and we'll see if who ends up being able to be the one to catch up to Logan Williams here.
Yeah, this inside lane is definitely where you want to be, and we've seen that. But in this race, you have more time to work your way from the back to the front. And we saw Benny Watson finally advance on from the outside pole. And Joshua Neely's actually gotten back to the inside pretty quick. That's the fastest we've seen any of these guys from that outside pole get to the inside. But only the winner counts. Now, there is that consolation race as well. So even if you're second, you finish second in this race, you get the pole for that consolation race, which would go a long way. But Joshua Neely looking pretty quick right here. Going to go to the inside of the 6th machine. And Bradley Ream going to slip back again. Another position for him right there. And Neely's back up to the 4th position.
Falling back there on the start on that outside lane. Joshua Neely doing a great job recovering here so far. Already got past the 30 of Brianna Monte and just past the 6 of Bradley Ream. Now trying to hunt down the number 77 on Marcus Glitch. That 95 car might be one to watch out for as this race goes along. But, yeah, right now, Logan Williams proving that the pole position is definitely where you want to start. He's trying to pull away right now from the number 38 of Aaron Lukes. Marcus Glitch there in the 77, sitting in 3rd. Like I mentioned, Neely in 4th. Bradley Ream currently rounding out your top 5. But at this point, all these guys are trying to hunt the number 17 of Logan Williams.
And for Logan Williams, he started 11th in his heat. He almost made it into the feature the easy way, and he was just one spot short, and that's why he's on the pole for LCQ number 1. And so far he's doing a good job, but I like what you said about Josh Manoukian. I think he has a strong enough car to maybe challenge, because he was the fastest one to start on second on the first on the outside, second in the race. But he's trying that outside lane, and it's not really working out for him, as Bradley Ream is now closing in. And I don't know if we really will see this here in LCQs, but we do have a 12th car, we do have double the laps, maybe lap drive would be a factor, who knows, we might see a little bump in one here though, as well, with the 30 and the 6 for the 5th position.
We've seen a couple of these guys spin each other out tonight as well. Who's to say we won't get a caution in this one? And that is exactly what Logan Williams does not want to see, because you can easily win these races from the pole as long as you don't have to fend off a restart. But we saw in heat number 4, and you know very well, Caleb, it's kind of hard to fend off a single file restart here at Anderson Speedway. So great racing back in here. You know, Jack Haas is one of those guys who started outside pole in his heat. He's trying to rebound here, but he's still very deep in the field. And Rogel Dorn, he almost made it in, and now he's all the way in the back of the field. That's just the unfortunate way it goes sometimes here, but still a long ways left to go in this LCQ.
We've got quite a ways left to go, and seeing a lot of action out here on the racetrack is now Michael Lewis trying to go after that 6 car of Bradley Ream. But yeah, like you mentioned, a caution is definitely not what Logan Williams wants to see during this race, because we saw how that went in heat race number 4. Like Alex said, I have a bit of experience with that one, but Logan Williams doing a good job out in front. Aaron Lukes there still in 2nd. Marcus Glitchen still in 3rd. Josh Manoukian in 4th, and now Risha Damade up into the 5th position. And yeah, like you said, these guys are kind of getting strung out a little bit, so that got close there between Jack Haas and Bradley Ream. But we'll have to see if it does happen, but there could potentially be a chance that Logan might run into lap traffic. We'll just have to wait and see. He is already, saw him over there in turns 3 and 4 while these guys were going into 1 and 2, and there he is. So there could be that possibility that Logan could run into lap traffic. We'll have to see.
These guys
are already 7 seconds off.
Oh yeah, always 7-8 seconds off for Duncan Warren. This is something we will definitely see in the Consolation and the feature race. Lap traffic will be a massive factor, and I'm not really surprised, but I also am at the same time. It's 50 laps here in this LCQ, and I'm surprised that we might catch up with lap traffic. And like we keep on saying, lap traffic is going to be a factor here in this night. And Analyst might be able to close in and get this race win. But no matter what, he's in a really good spot. Because like Alex mentioned earlier, 2nd place in LCQ number 1. He won't be in the feature, but you'll start on the pole for the Consolation Race coming up.
Yeah, and Aaron Lukes is actually closing in regardless here. Now within a second of Logan Williams. And we may actually catch up to lap traffic. And just think, when we get to the feature, when we have 22, and even in the Consolation Race, when we have 22 cars on track. And, you know, these guys are going to be hitting lap traffic very early on, and there's 250 laps in the feature event. You know, we're still got a ton of racing left to go tonight. I love this event that you've put on, Nathan. This is, you know, for people watching, this is Nathan's idea through and through. He came to me with this idea, and I think it's a great idea. And like I said, I like to see these late models on track again at some point throughout the year. But we're here for the little 250 tonight. That's the focus. And Aaron Luke's trying to close in on Logan Williams here. He might have a good opportunity as they close into the back of this field. It'll be 20 laps to go next time by.
Williams continuing to close towards the back of the field. It's definitely now in frame now as the 17 closes in there on the 33 of Rogel Dorn. But speaking of closing, like you mentioned, Aaron Lukes maybe slowly trying to draw that 17 in. Closed a little bit that last time by, so Lukes maybe trying to close in just a little bit to maybe set himself up in a good position to when the 17 does probably catch lap traffic. He went a little bit wide there, almost got the ball there through turn 2, so he's probably going to lose a little bit of time here, and yes, he does. But as long as he can stay at least decently close, he might still have an opportunity once Logan does catch up to the back of the field here.
And Alex touched on it. Lap traffic will be a factor for sure in the Consolation and the feature, but I guess I didn't expect it to be a factor here in LCQ, but we got double the lap count here. And Logan Williams is definitely one of the fastest cars here in this one. glitch might be closing in on the second place spot. I love the cameras here at Anderson Speedway, and it makes it very simple with it being just a core model racetrack. You can see basically everywhere here, and Logan Williams still in the race lead. The whole field is spread out here with 14 laps to go. We'll see if Logan catches up to Logan Dorn in the back part of the field. But it's been a dominating one from Logan Williams, and one thing that we have seen all night long, they tend to get tight off turn number 2, and that's what happened to Aaron Lutz there. And everyone is basically spread out now at this point, and because of that, Logan Dorn might be a factor here.
We'll just have to see how much faster Logan is, and I think if you're Logan, you actually kind of want to manage that pace and not get in a battle with Rogel. You can't overshoot the corner either. And you know, something we really haven't thought about too much. Tire wear is going to be a factor here, you know, especially when we get to the feature event. You know, these guys, you know, they have a very hard tire here, so they don't have to make a pit stop in the feature, but they're still going to be somewhere, and it's going to definitely make things a little bit difficult, especially once we get to the feature event. But Logan's looking pretty good, and you know, you got Logan Williams, Nicholas Sam, anyways, your two Wawa Cup Series drivers, Caleb, and it's looking good for Logan right now. Still 10 laps to go here in this LCQ.
Looking pretty good for Logan. Like you said, at this point, he just doesn't want to overdrive it, but he doesn't want to underdrive it either, because that 38 of Aaron Lutz has been kind of slicing into that race lead over the last couple of laps. He's slowly but surely kind of gained back the time that he's lost when he got up high there in turn at number 2. Laps are ticking down here, though, and Logan still doing a pretty good job here at managing the pace between himself, Aaron Lutz, and the lap cars in front of him. At this rate, I don't actually know if he will catch them or not. This time by, it's going to be 6 laps to go. It's probably going to be close.
It's definitely going to be close, and that's the veteran experience from Logan Williams. He is managing his pace with, you know, Lutz behind and the lap cars in front of him, and he might time it perfectly, but he might not even catch up to Logan Dorn, and we'll tough wait for some of these guys in the back that looks like would have had a good night, especially Logan Dorn. Almost made it from the most recent Heat 4, and now gonna be dead last year in LCQ number 1. Gonna be a great one from Aaron Lutz. Not quite gonna be a factor, but only got a few laps to go, and I think lap traffic might not be a factor.
I mean, he's getting closer there to Rogel Dorn, and I don't think it will be a factor. I don't think it's going to affect Logan enough, but you know, it could be a factor in LCQ number 2. And you know, Logan's got to be careful not to do something like that and just override the corner there. You know, all it takes is one mistake, and he's going to take himself out. But how about this for Logan Williams, looking to make it into the feature event, 1 lap to go.
Leader tonight, Anderson Williams made it in, and both of the Williams brothers are going to be in. LCQ number 1 winner is Logan Williams here tonight in a dominating fashion, but it was not too far away though, as Aaron Lutz kept him in check in about a 1 second gap right there. Good win from Logan Williams right there, and still not too bad of a one from Aaron Lutz. He will start on the pole for the Consolation Race, and that one's going to be wild with 22 cars and 100 laps, and it might be 100 laps, but that will still fly by here at Anderson Speedway. Caution free, surprisingly, with some of the racing that we did see there, and that's the thing. They might get spread out, but the racing, though, you can definitely catch up and make a pass. And for Logan Williams, he had the car to beat, and he had it for the entire LCQ, and he will win LCQ number 1. But for Aaron Lutz, he will start first. Marcus Glitch will start third in the Consolation Race, and so forth. So not too bad for these drivers that are in LCQ number 1. What's your final thoughts, and what do you think will happen in LCQ number 2?
I think one thing about these, you know, dual races that you get, one is calm, the other is chaotic. I think we're going to find the chaotic one in LCQ number 2, but you know, no surprise to see Logan Williams just dominate. He's a really good driver, having a great season in the Wawa Cup Series right now. He's actually 3rd in points in the Wawa Cup Series as we speak. I didn't even notice that last Friday night, but hey, Logan Williams looking really good, and he's going to be starting 21st in the feature event, and with 250 laps, I think anyone's got a shot at winning it later on the night.
Yeah, an absolutely spectacular run there for Logan Williams, absolutely dominating the first LCQ there. And Yeah, I was honestly kind of thinking the same thing that Alex said. Whenever you have like these two dual races, one's always calm, one's chaotic. Well, that race still had a lot of action. It was pretty calm. We'll have to see what the second LCQ, excuse me, has in store. We'll just have to wait and see.
We just have to wait and see. Indeed, we're getting closer and closer. And just want to say, even though that was 50 laps, that was still a very fast race. I want to say 10, 13 minutes, and that's how the laps go by here. And that's why that in the feature, it will only take 45 minutes to an hour, even though it's doing in 50 laps. Let's go ahead and get to LCQ number 2 and find out who will get the 22nd and final spot into the 2025 Little 250. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway. What a night it has been already with the heat races in LCQ number 1. And now it is time for LCQ number 2. And this is a big one because this is the last chance for everybody. This is to determine of who will start 22nd in the feature race here tonight. And then everyone else will start in the Consolation Race right after this one. And we'll see if who ends up making on for this one. And Alex and Caleb, we have some big time names in LCQ number 2, but only one of them get in.
It's going to be a fun race. And we got Nicholas Amadeo, who's leading this field as well, with Owen Miles alongside him. Carson Miller is there, Lenovo Pro Series champion, Alexander Rowe as well. This is going to be a very intense race, and we'll just have to see how it ends up going down. But one more spot left in the feature. One of these 12 drivers is going to get it.
Definitely. This is it right here. This is where we decide the driver lineup for the feature, the driver lineup for the Consolation Race. This is where everything will be made official, and definitely some high stakes going into this one. It's going to be a lot of fun, and like Alex touched on, we got a lot of big names in this one. We've got Sam Adio, Owen Miles, Carson Miller, Angel Gutierrez, Hergel Alonso, Ludovic Charette starting towards the back there. A lot of big names here on the channel in this race, and all for just one spot. It'll be really interesting to see who's going to get it.
I think this one, kind of like what Alex touched on at the end of LCQ number 1, this might be the crazier LCQ, and it always helps with some of the bigger names in this last chance qualifier. Sam Dio is on the pole in that green Sprite 89, and alongside him is the 07 of Owen Miles, Carson Miller in the 55, and Angel Gutierrez in the 25, Allison Rowe in the 48, and Keegan Thompson in the 46. Avery Alford in the number 65, and then the number 37 of Hergel Alonso. The number 5 of Aaron Abel, who didn't even really get to mention him in heat number 1, really got wet down the backstretch. He has another chance, and alongside someone that also got wet down the backstretch of Ludovic Charette. And then the number 34 of Henry J. Brown, and the 03 of Matthew Burnett, who probably should have been in the feature, but got turned by Dale Matthews late in heat race number 4. Alright, Alex and then Caleb, the final LCQ of the night, the final race before the biggest 2 races of the night. Who do you think will win LCQ number 2?
Who do you think I'm going to pick? The all-time winningest driver on the channel. I don't know if he's going to get the feature event tonight for his 32nd career win, but he's going to get this LCQ win. That's Nicholas Amadeo in the 89.
Well, honestly, it's kind of been a trend tonight. Of course, when we started out, with the heats and everything, we've seen the outside pole sitter really kind of slip back towards the back of the field. However, as the night's gone along, we've started to kind of see our outside pole sitter get better and better at managing the positions and getting back down to the bottom. So maybe we'll see the outside pole sitter cook this time around. So I'm going to go with the number 07 of Owen Miles. Get it done here in LCQ number 2.
Maybe this time will be the charm for the outside pole sitter. And you did mention the outside pole sitter of LCQ number 1 of Joshua Neely quickly got back to the bottom. And we'll see if that can be the case for Owen Miles here tonight. After this 50-lap race, it will be 100 laps for the Consolation Race and then 250 for the Little 250 feature. Thank you for joining us here tonight. It's been a lot of fun with these quick, short sprint races, and we're not done yet. The final race of the night before we get to the biggest 2 it will be Mr. Edge, Nicholas Samadillo, and all miles on the Formula A Seth LCQ number 2. Only one driver will get the 22nd spot into the feature with green flag racing for LCQ number 2. A great stuff from Carson Miller. For a second, I was going to challenge Samadillo right there. He still might. In that double cell number 55. Alexander Rowe on this inside lane, gaining some spots early on. And all miles is dropping back like a rock in that 07. But he's going to get clear. But Enable's not going to allow him to get clear side by side back here. Top 5 have gone single file. And Alexander Rowe, he's been cooking the field in the sprint series. Now going side by side for second.
Yeah, will he cook here in this LCQ? Alexander Rowe, Nicholas Samadillo are two of some of the best drivers that we have on the channel, and here they are 1-2 right now, and Carson Miller slipping back just a little bit right there. Aaron Abel stuck on the outside lane as well. He's going to slip back as here comes the 46 machine. Keegan Thompson trying to race his way in. It's a shame we can't have all these guys in the feature event, but gotta have a consolation race for the guys who don't make it on, which I think is a great idea.
Oh,
it's good to see these guys. Oh no,
Abel!
And he's just had a bad night, hasn't he?
Aaron Abel just can't seem to catch a break as now he's in the outside wall off of turn number 2. Owen Miles in the 07 does get back down to the inside eventually and gets by the number 5 of Aaron Abel and now tries setting his sights on the 34 of Henry Brown. And now Alexander Rowe up into the second position looking to try and chase Samadillo down. Keegan Thompson has been making up a lot of ground since the start of this race. He now tries going after that 55 of Carson Miller, and behind these guys, you got the number 65 of Avery Alford now under fire from the 34 of Henry Brown. And 1 mile behind them, looking to try and make back up some spots. And behind Miles, you got the 54, Ludovic Charette, looking to try and gain some positions as Thompson gets really close there with the 55 of Miller. But Thompson is going to get down to the inside. He's going to clear there for the 3rd position. Try to pull away here just a little bit.
Tell you what, this little cool mile is putting on a show here tonight. And these guys want to try the outside lane, but it's not the way to go. This is such a small trail. You have to run the bottom. And if you have trying to get to the inside of Henry Brown, we've not really mentioned him here tonight. And that's a good thing about the Consolation Race, because for everybody that we don't see make it into the feature, we get to see him one more time. And also for drivers like Henry Brown, we didn't really mention him in this heat. He's made some noise here in the LCQ, and we get to see him for 100 laps in the Consolation Race later on tonight. And this is a story of Ludovic Charette not even inside the top 5 as Abel
again.
That car is killed. He got tight again off turn 4. We've not seen that all night long.
This Aaron Abel really isn't able to do much here.
Wow.
I'll see myself out.
Wow.
You actually got 2 of the guys who got spun around in the heat races at the back of the field right now. And we'll have to see if our leaders end up catching up to the back of the field quicker because of that. Aaron Abel's really damaged that car quite a bit. We'll see if that ends up putting them off pace, and we'll see if that ends up affecting Nicholas Samadillo in his attempt to race into the feature event here tonight. Alexander Rowe, though, right behind him. Keegan Thompson in 3rd. Very strong group of drivers. Got a battle right there, as it looks like that's Henry Brown looking to make a move on the 34, or Henry Brown on the 34 under fire from the 65 machine of Avery Alford. Alford's going to be able to take that spot away.
Alford now up into the 5th position. They're getting by Henry Brown. Keegan Thompson has looked really fast so far here this LCQ. He's pulled away there from the 55 of Carson Miller, now looking to try and set his sights on the 48 of Alexander Rowe. But just, man, towards the back of the field. It's been such a tough night for guys like Herschel Arvolanto and especially Aaron Abel, who, of course, got wrecked in his heat race and now caught the wall and probably now struggling with the handling of that 5 car. And like Alex said, it'll be interesting to see now with that happening if these guys maybe catch the tail end of the field a little bit quicker. We'll have to see as this race goes along, but right now it's been lights out for the 89 and Nicholas Samadillo.
It sure has been a little bit of a similar gap of what we saw in LCQ number 1, but I do think it's a little bit closer than it was earlier on in LCQ number 1. It's still a second. At one point, Logan Williams had a 1.5 second lead almost, so this is not over between some of the best on the channel. Great to see Keegan Thompson in this event. That was one of the schemes I made myself, and not too bad for
You
someone.
cooked.
For someone that's not known to be good at paint schemes, and I will admit I'm not good at it. That's a nice
you're
scheme.
not known for painting good schemes because you never paint any schemes. But when you do, you cook.
And we'll see if what
Just
ends
like
up
with
happening.
this race is cooking on. And I know we've not seen much action up front in these smaller races, but let me tell you, once you get to the consolation, once you get to the feature, it is going to be insane, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's what we're leading up to here. And it's just like with Indy 250 week as a whole. You know, you have all the practice sessions, you have the qualifying, but then you get to the race, and that's when it all breaks loose. And that's going to be a fun race on Saturday, isn't it, Caleb?
Oh yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch it. You're going to want to watch it. It's always a good one each year. Just like you want to watch the feature event of this race later on the night. It's going to be a lot of fun here as we move on throughout the night here in Anderson Speedway.
Charette in the 51 looking to try and close in on the 07 of Owen Miles, but their post going to go wide there. Potentially opening up the door here for the 03 of Matthew Burnett looking to make his way through the field. Owen Miles doing a good job at defending against Charette for the time being. Charette's going to try and dive it in here in 1 and 2. But Miles gets a bit of a run there off of the high side. He's going to stay clear for the time being. But Charette is now closed all the way to the back bumper of the 07 of Miles. Well, we haven't seen much action up towards the front, but we have seen some great racing here towards the middle of the pack. And like Alex said, once we get to the main race, that is definitely going to change because we're still going to see the same mid-pack action that we're seeing now, but also with that added touch of maybe some leader battles going on, especially once we get into the lap traffic stuff. But man, we've seen some great battles here so far here tonight, and looks like we're about to see another one right here as the 03 of Matthew Burnett goes to the inside of the 51 Ludovic Charette.
That's a power move from Burnett, and this track's a really fun track. I will just say that right now, and I'm glad that this is a good version because this is the only one. The only version of Anderson Speedway is this one, so it's definitely putting on the show. Nicholas Samadeo still out front. He did have a 1.5 second lead, but kind of like the first LCQ, second place is starting to close back in a little bit. Well, back down to a 1.3 second gap over himself and Samadeo. And I do think we might be catching up the lap traffic a little bit faster here, so we'll see if we catch up to Alonso and Abel and Gutierrez in time. But once again, you want to be on the pole, but I think in the consolation and the feature, those lap colors are going to be a factor. Just think about it. We have 12 colors and we are almost catching up with the field. Just imagine when we have 22 colors on this little bullring. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And we're going to have ourselves a very interesting feature once we get down to it and have 22 cars on the racetrack. And I think what we've seen in these smaller races have definitely been a lot of fun. But just hold on. The Consolation Race is going to be fun, and then the feature is going to be fun, and we're just getting started. And Nicholas Samadale looking to be a part of that feature event. Of course, he's a driver who, you know, he's going to have a good run, good starting position for the Indy 250 on Saturday. But he'd love to get win number 32 here tonight, and we'll have to see if he ends up pulling that off. He's going to have a shot at it, but we'll see how it ends up shaking out in the Consolation Race as well. And that's going to give us a taste of what the feature is going to be like with 22 cars on the racetrack. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, the most we've seen on the track so far tonight is 12, and we're just getting started here tonight. We still got ourselves Consolation 75 laps, correct?
100.
100. So we still got 350 more laps of racing here tonight. We're just getting started here from Anderson Speedway.
I've still got a lot of racing left to go here from the Anderson Speedway. Still got the consolation, still got the feature, and one driver that's looking really good right now to make said feature is the 89 and Nicholas Samadeo. He's ran a great LCQ here so far. He's got a decent gap to the 48 of Alexander Rowe, so he can manage that gap to both Rowe and the lap cars, kind of like we saw out of Logan Williams in LCQ number 1. This time by it's going to be 4 laps to go for Samadeo. Keegan Thompson, a good run there in the 46, but might just run out of time here. But still, just an absolute great run tonight here out of Nicholas Samadeo.
A great one without a doubt for Samadeo. I think these guys are just going to not quite catch up to the back part of the field. Going to be a good one from Alexander Rowe. He will start second in the consolation race. And he can still gonna start fourth in that consolation race as well in a couple of minutes time. White flag is in the air this time for San Dio. He's gonna be in the feature race here tonight. Gonna have to start from 22nd, but if anyone can do that, it is San Dio. How about this, kill? Both of the Wawa Cup Series drivers will win the LCQs. San Dio will win LCQ number 2.
Let's go, baby. We got both the Wawa Cup Series drivers in the race. Love to see that. Love to see that.
And San Dio's doing a couple victory laps in the number 89. Great showing there, and both of the LCQs are pretty similar. Have the poster pull out to a very big lead, and ended up keeping it for about a second. But that second place car ended up was catching, and that's going to be a real fascinating thing here in the Consolation and in the feature. Lap traffic is going to be a big time factor, and we just have to wait and see if what ends up happening later on tonight. Congratulations to Sam Badillo on winning LCQ number 2. He will move on to the feature in last place, and that's not the best place to be, knowing that lap traffic will probably be a factor, and he has to go from the back of one relatively quickly if he doesn't want to be a lap car himself. But the heats are done, the LCQs are done. We got 100 laps for the Consolation Race, 250 for the feature race. How do you think that's going to go with 22 cars on the racetrack, a full field here at Anderson Speedway?
Well, we're definitely going to see a lot of action throughout the whole track, no doubt about it. And I'm excited to see how it ends up shaking out, because now we're going to have double the amount of cars that we've seen all night long. We've already seen, especially in a couple of those heat races, what can happen. It's going to get crazy, it's going to get wild, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing who gets both of the wins here tonight.
Definitely excited to see how the Consolation and the feature race will go down. I think they're both definitely going to be a lot different from what we saw here in the heats and the LCQs. Like Max mentioned, we're going to have more cars on the racetrack, a longer lap count, so a lot more time for stuff to go down. I might need to get some popcorn after this before heading in, because it's going to be really, really exciting from here on out.
Absolutely, it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, and we are not done yet. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the Consolation Race here tonight at Anderson Speedway. The winner will get a guaranteed spot into the 2026 Little 250. We have done the LCQs, we have done the heat races, and now it is time for the 2 longest races of the night here for the first ever Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. Thanks for everyone for watching here tonight. Been a lot of fun, been a lot of work behind the scenes, and now it's time for some of the most fun races of the night. The Consolation Race, 100 laps here, and this is everybody that unfortunately did not make it into the feature, and they will all be seen one more time here tonight with these beautiful customs that everyone made, and someone will win the race, and someone will get a guaranteed spot into next year's Little 250 main event in 2026, as long as they finish the heat race. I'll decide that next year, but regardless, the winner gets a spot into the feature next year, and this is big. This is almost as big as winning the event. 100 laps, 22 cars. How do you think this one's going to go, guys?
It's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing these 22 drivers face off here, and we're going to finally get our first taste of lap traffic and see how that ends up affecting a race of this length. And this is 100 laps, and sure, it's a quarter-mile racetrack, so it's still going to go by really quick, but still a lot of time here around this quarter-mile racetrack to see how it all ends up shaking out. But excited to see how it goes, and we might not necessarily see Aaron Lukes end up winning this Consolation Race, but it's going to be a lot of fun seeing who gets it done, and then leads up to the feature and gives us a taste for what we're going to see in the feature here in just a few moments.
Yeah, definitely. This race is going to be a lot of fun with the increased car count and even more increased lap count as well. And like you mentioned, I think this is going to be our first proper tasting of what we're probably going to see here in the feature just in a little while. And I think this is definitely going to be a lot of fun, especially with the other factors that are probably going to come into the mix, like lap traffic. And who knows, we could potentially see some cautions here in this race, just like in Heat 4 with the 22 cars out on the racetrack. But we'll have to wait until it all goes down, but it's going to be a lot of fun here from the Consolation Race.
Absolutely, and you touched on it. I do think there could be a higher chance of a caution, not a guarantee, but definitely a higher chance of double the laps than what we've seen all night long, and of course having 22 drivers. We have so many drivers it doesn't even fit in the camera here. We have to go into this camera to show off all the 22 drivers here in the Consolation Race. And on the pole is Anderson in the number 38. Bailey got second in LCQ number 1. And then in the number 48 is Alexander, who got second in LCQ number 2. Marcus Galitch and Keegan Thompson. Joshua Neely and the 55 of Carson Miller. Starting 7th in the number 30 is Maria DeMata. And then alongside him is the number 34 of Henry J. Brown. And then Michael Lewis in the number 54 and Avery Alford in the 65. Brian Lurima in the 6 and Matthew Burnett in the 03. Dylan Matthews in the 49 and Owen Miles in the 07. Chad Haas and Ladovit Chouette. Haas in the 57, Chouette in the 51. William Perez in the number 11. We didn't really talk about William Perez yet here tonight in that Monster Energy Zero Sugar number 11. And then alongside him is Angel Gutierrez. Duncan Wood and Alan Abel, who's had a terrible night here tonight. And then running out the grid of 22 colors is Local Dawn and Sergio Alonso. And Caleb and then Alex, this is the longest race of the night. And I'm going to leave it up to you. Who do you think will win the Consolation Race here tonight?
I think what we're going to see here in the Consolation Race and eventually the feature is definitely going to be a lot different from what we saw in the earlier races like the Heats and the LCQs. So I think the pole position might definitely be the place you still want to start, but I don't know if we might quite see them pull away and dominate like we saw out of all the other drivers in the Heats and LCQ. So I'm going to go a couple rows back. I think I'm going to take that number 95 of Joshua Neely to get it here in the Consolation Race. He was really fast, especially in his LCQ when he dropped down the bottom just about immediately after starting on the outside pole. Couldn't quite get it done, but starting on the inside here in the Consolation Race, I think he has a pretty good shot here getting this one.
I'm going to go with a guy who had a really good run in another special event that we had a little bit earlier in the year, the Top Dragster Open. We're going to go with Michael Lewis in that 54 machine. That's that inside lane, and I think as this race goes along, I think we'll see certain drivers move up through the field. And I think Michael Lewis might actually get it done here in this Consolation Race.
We'll see what ends up happening. Both of you guys put some pits deeper in the side of the top 10. And I think that's going to be a good indication of what we might see. A lot more time, obviously, for these drivers to make up moves. And I think lap traffic will definitely be a factor here in this one. Thank you for joining us here all night long. And we'll see on who ends up getting the race win here in the Consolation Race in the 2025 Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. And of course, whoever wins this one after 100 laps will get a guaranteed spot into the 2026 Little 250 here in a year time. Let's see if I can remember that next year. But 100 laps and loops. And Alexander was two of the strongest drivers that did not make it into the feature will lead us to the green as we are racing for the Consolation Race at Anderson Speedway. Good stuff for Aaron Lutz. Good start for third place starter of Marcus Glitch. And we've seen that all night long. If you start third, you have a really good jump on the field. And we're going to see what happens with 22 colors instead of 11 or 12. And you can just tell this track, this is a cool mile and it is packed all over the place here.
And you're going to see Michael Lewis here in this 54 start to move up as well. And that whole inside lane moved up. And you're also going to see Alexander Rowe, who also started outside pole for his heat, fall back again. And outside lane. Oh, and there we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We've got a pileup in turn one.
And it looks like it was Avery Alford and someone else. These guys have to watch out for a checkup. Not too bad. Obviously, it is a short track, damage doesn't really affect things, but definitely for a rail for that. Actually, that was not, that was another white color of Matthew Burnett instead, so definitely for Burnett. And I do think I saw 3 wide off turn number 4 there, and that might have been exactly what ended up happening.
That's not what Aaron Lukes wanted to see, because now he's going to have to fend off a restart here, and that 77 could have an opportunity. And this is only our second restart we've had all night, so this could get interesting right here.
Oh yeah, we've seen restarts here tonight, at least one restart, and it was chaotic, and he raced number 4, so let's see what ended up happening to bring out the first caution of the night, the second one of the night, and first one in the Consolation Race here at Anderson Speedway. Alright, this will happen to bring out the first caution of the night in the Consolation Race, and Local Dawn being aggressive here, and entering turns 3 and 4, once up the racetrack, sends Burnett into a Ralford, kind of does 3 wide and on a tight quarter mile like this. This is not going to work out well whatsoever, and Burnett's night keeps on getting worse, and he gets turned by Local Dawn here into the inside wall. Dawn catches a little bit of air somehow, and then back up the racetrack, a little bit of damage for Brian Perez and Unable, but nothing too bad here on the short track, and that ended up causing a little bit of a pile up, and that ended up bringing out the first caution of the night here in the Consolation Race. Get a full speed replay, and then let's get back to the restart here in this one.
Well, we have seen 3 wide work here tonight, but just because it can work doesn't mean it always will work. You're going to see here Burnett and Rogel Dorn going to get into it together, into the inside wall, back up the racetrack, and a bit of a soft collection there, collecting a couple other cars, just getting a little bit of slight damage that, but Burnett and Rogel Dorn definitely getting the worst of that one. And tough break there, as we got an early caution here from the Consolation Race.
A early caution, and that's what happens sometimes, and we'll see what ends up happening with a restart, and if it's anything like the Heat 4 restart, then we'll see what happens. Let's get back to the restart with Anderson out front. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway after the first caution of the night. Tough play for Matthew Burnett, and he's still going to keep on going, and honestly, with this being a short track, damage does not really matter too much. Anderson will be the race leader, but if it's any indication of the Heat 4 restart, it might get crazy, but what a jump from Anderson in the number 38. He got a big jump in the restart zone. And here comes Bradley on the inside of the 54 machine back here. And here comes the 30, trying to take second away.
Restart for the 30 and Maria Damante, but she's going to go wide there through turns 1 and 2, opening up the door for the 95 of Jocelyn Neely. Bradley Ream looking to potentially try and follow suit. You also got the number 49 of Dylan Matthews looking to make their way here up through the field. But Aaron Lukes did not want a repeat of what happened to a certain somebody in Heat 4 on the restart, and got a great jump there, and has actually opened up quite a bit of a gap so far here to the 77 Marcus Glitch. So great job there out of the number 38 of Aaron Lukes.
Definitely a fantastic start as sideways is Alexander Wall, and they are really pushing it throughout the field, and that's what we've seen all night, and they are slipping and sliding, really going after it, knowing that this is the last time they need these cars here tonight. Bradley Beam side by side with Dylan Matthews for, I believe, the 5th position, and they are wrecking again.
Oh no, Carson Miller!
And that is Carson Miller in the 55, and he's going to be done for the night.
He's done.
He's done.
And caution is out again.
Oh, watch out.
Oh, look out, guys.
And this is what happens, and Angel Gutierrez is on pit road, and these guys will sort things out eventually. There are some things within our limitations. This is a very small track, so just got.
They sorted it out though.
Yep,
they got it together.
Yeah, that was actually one of the fastest times they did it in the race order testing. So good job, and I think that might have been another 3 wide. I think these guys have found out here tonight, especially in the feature, don't go 3 wide. So, tough play for Carson Miller and Angel Gutierrez, but let's go ahead and see what happened for the second caution of the night in the Consolation Race. Here we go, this will happen for the second caution of the night, more 3 wide, and this time it's off for turn number 2, and Henry Brown gets into the corner panel of the Duracell machine of Carson Miller. They save it, keep it out of the pit road wall, and then Carson Miller just kept on blocking the 34, did not like that, and Brown shoved Carson Miller into the 25 of Gutierrez and hard into the outside wall, and that's going to take out Carson Miller and destroy that machine. And that's it. That's what brings out the second caution in the Consolation Race. A tough hit for Carson Miller, and he's going to be the first one out in this one.
Well, yet another 3 wide incident here at Anderson, as you're going to see Miller and Henry Brown get into it. They initially do save it, but neither of them want to give an inch, and they both come back on the track at full speed, and Carson Miller gets into Gutierrez and then eventually into the outside wall. And fortunately, that is going to spell the end of Carson Miller's day, as a lot of damage to that number 55 Duracell machine.
Oh,
so
yeah,
definitely a tough break there for Carson Miller.
Yeah, that car has seen better days for sure after that one, and that's a tough play. That was a nice paint scheme that Travis Crampton made, and unfortunately that car is done for the night, as it will be and still as the race leader. And let's go ahead and see what happened. Well, let's go ahead and get back to the restart, I should say, here in the Consolation Race at Anderson Speedway. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway after our second caution of the Consolation Race, and what we can assume of it being 3 wide. So these guys probably need to stop that. Unfortunately, Carson Miller is the first car out in the Consolation Race, and then Angel Gutierrez is 1 lap down. Back green and loose with a decent restart, not as good as the first one. Glitch is all over the back bumper, and the only one's wide. That's gonna allow the 6 and the 30 to get underneath that Burger King number 95. Oh!
Yeah, definitely a lot of great racing in the back here. They shuffle around a lot on these restarts, and you know, we were seeing a couple of cautions here. We may see quite a few restarts throughout the rest of this night, and that's going to make things very interesting with these races. Here comes Michael Lewis trying to get on Joshua Neely right there. About Dylan Matthews in the 49. She took a hard hit in her heat race, and she's up here in the top 10 in this Consolation Race, and they're more 3 wide back in there.
More 3 wide.
Owen Miles and Alonso back in there. Ladovic Charette, she's just not had a good night. She got sent to the pit lane there. That was an unfortunate one for her, and she's struggled since then in that regard. But Aaron Lukes has not struggled in this race. Good run for him there. And you got Maria D'Amata, first career start on the channel, running in 3rd here in this Consolation Race. More great battling as Neely and Matthews go after it there for the 5th position, 6th position.
A lot of great battles all over the racetrack here in this Consolation Race. And if they can maybe get spread out just a little bit, we could definitely get a decent green flag run in, which would definitely be nice to see. And it'll especially be interesting to see how it develops as the race goes along. But yeah, right now, Aaron Lukes didn't get as good of a restart as he did last time, but still holding on really strong with the race lead. Trying to build up that gap back to the 77 of Marcus Glitch. And yeah, good run for Maria D'Amata in their first career start on the channel, running in the 3rd position right now. Maybe you have to watch out for that 30 car. I think it looks pretty fast.
Definitely looks pretty fast, and have to see of what that machine can do. And you gotta think, this is gonna be the longest race of the night so far. And earlier in the night, you touched on it, Tyler. We bought a hard tire so we can run 250 laps in the feature, but there's still tire with it. So you gotta have a long run car towards the end, and that might be what the 77 might be doing. I like the 77 right now of Marcus Glitch. I think he's starting to settle in, but I think also this 30 machine of D'Amata is also a little bit faster. Got a little bit tight off turn 4. And we'll see what ends up happening. And this is what we were talking about. We have 21 cars now on the racetrack, and already on lap 33, and only, I want to say, 13 laps on the restart, give or take a few laps. Hello, lap traffic for the first time of the night.
Yeah, we're we're going to have a very interesting race here once we get to the lap traffic. It's the first time we've seen this all night long. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Aaron Lukes manages the lap traffic, and we're going to end up hitting it a lot earlier. And they're going double wide ahead of him as well, so this is going to be very, very interesting. We'll have to see what this 38 machine can do. And right behind him, you also got the 77 there of Marcus Glitch trying to close in, and we'll see if he ends up getting any advantage as Aaron Lukes hits this lap traffic here on lap 37.
Here we go. First car in his path. We got the number 11 of Braden Perez, who's trying to go after it with the 07 of Owen Miles. It looks like they might go side by side here, and they're going to do just that. Aaron Lukes trying to decide which way to go. Perez gets by Miles, so now it's Miles standing in the 38's path for the time being. But you saw right there, Marcus Glitch closed in a couple of tenths that last time by. And Aaron Lukes going up to the high side, so these lap cars are definitely paying dividends to that 38 right now.
I don't really know why Aaron Lukes is 21 the high side, and that's just allowing the 77 to easily close in. And especially we're talking about lap traffic will be a massive factor. And think of it as basically like Bristol. Lap traffic ends up being in the way fairly fast, and these guys have to be very careful. The leaders have to be careful if some of these back markers in the field get tangled up with each other. 77 was wide, that's going to have the 30 close back in. And this is some good stuff here at Anderson Speedway. The 38 of Aaron Lukes got past Burnett, and looks like Burnett is just going to try and let these leaders go on by. Class move from Burnett, who's had a rough night here tonight. Gonna let second and third going by.
And now you got Marcus Glitch, who's going to benefit from Owen Miles holding Aaron Lukes up right here. And that 38, once again, trying that outside lane, trying to kind of get out. I don't want to say out of the dirty. It's a quarter-mile racetrack. I don't think they had much of a concept of that when they made this game. I mean, it was a thing, but it's much more of a thing in real life now. But Aaron Lukes is struggling now to get around this 07. As a matter of fact, he actually lost the back bumper of the 07 right there. And here we go for the race lead. Marcus Glitch is right there looking for it here about halfway through this Consolation Race.
Marcus Glitch went really wide there just a little bit ago, and Marcus Glitch now right on the back bumper of the 38 of Aaron Lukes, looking to try and find a way around. Just Aaron Lukes trying to get by Owen Miles, just trying some different lines, but it's not really quite working out in his favor. And now here comes the 30 of Maria D'Amato looking to get in on this lead battle. We might have a 3-horse race for this lead, as Marcus Glitch taking a peek to the inside of Lukes. Not quite going to get there just yet. But at the moment, we got a 3-horse race for this lead as now D'Amato taking a peek inside of Glitch for the second position. Might even go for the lead as Aaron Lukes goes wide again.
This is some good stuff, and this is what we were talking about all night long. Lap traffic will be a factor, and that allows second and third place to close back. And look at D'Amato all over the back bumper now, going for the race lead. Side by side, the 30 and the 38. Makes it easy.
And
she got it.
Maria D'Amato's going to have a good shot of winning this race now. Because that 30, and we kind of saw even before they got into the lap traffic that 30 machine seemed to be really fast. Now it's Alexander Rowe that got started outside pole for this race. It's now at the end of the field there. And we'll have to see how well D'Amato can get around Alexander Rowe. Looks like she's going to be able to do so fairly easily right here. Got to the inside. Now Aaron Lukes still in the second position here. Let's see if he has any opportunity getting around this lap traffic and having a shot this 30 machine.
Burnett got to the inside there of the 77 of Marcus Glitch. Definitely not what he was looking for. But Aaron Lukes trying to run down the 30, stay with D'Amato. But D'Amato doing a really good job right now trying to pull away with the race lead. Got a couple cars closing in on these top 3 as well, including the 6 of Bradley Ream, 49 of Dylan Matthews, and the 95 of Neely. But Neely's wide. He's in the fence. And that could open up the door here for the number 54 of Michael Lewis to go on by. But yeah, these lap cars are definitely playing a huge factor in this race, and from here on out, it's definitely going to be really interesting to see who's going to walk away with this one. But right now, D'Amato out front and doing a pretty good job here so far with these lap cars.
D'Amato's fast. That 30 car has been one of the best cars to get past his lap cars. Got past the 48, got past the 07. And Aaron Lukes got past Alexander Rowe as well. And I think this 38 is still fast, but lap traffic kind of hurt him a little bit. Gonna try and make a move on Owen Miles in the 07. He's had a tough night here tonight. And now Angel Gutierrez is going to hold up for number 30. Ooh, that's not going to be that good, and Lewis is going to close right back in.
Yeah, and now that we've got more lap traffic getting in the way, that's Angel Gutierrez, who actually came down the pit lane, got waved around under the caution. But you see Aaron Luke's really going wide. That's the second time I've seen him do that. He just completely lost it there. Good thing for Aaron Luke, he has definitely put a gap between him and Marcus Glitch, so he can kind of focus on this 30 machine, but he's got to be careful not to let the lap cars get back to the inside of him, which is definitely a possibility if he's not careful. But D'Amata, they're going to go to the inside of the 25 there, try to put Gutierrez another lap down. Oh boy, that's tight right there. And you got to think, we still got 22 cars in this racetrack all over the place. And we've seen in these heat races, these LCQs, these guys get into each other here tonight. And we could send up with another caution. That could make things very interesting if we get a restart.
Especially with how these guys are racing, still could definitely get a caution, as we saw Owen Miles and Alexander Rowe almost get into it there. D'Amato, though, getting past the 25 of Gutierrez and setting sail now after getting by that 25, as now Aaron Luke's trying to get to the inside. Might have saw almost 3 wide back there, but I think luckily one of the cars bailed out of it at the last second. Michael Lewis in the 54 getting by the 49 of Dylan Matthews. How about this 46 of Keegan Thompson making his way up here through the field. Now trying to look underneath the 49 of Dylan Matthews. Looking to take that 6th position away. Bradley Ream in the 6 car. Underneath the lap car there of Matthew Burnett. Looking to maybe try and catch up there to the 77 of Marcus Glitch. But a good run here so far. And into the wall. Pretty hard there was the 49 of Matthews.
A very hard hit for Matthews, and it seems like it's just been not the night for Sultan Dwyer. Abel, Matthews, Ladovic, Charette, Alonso. It's just been not some people's night. Same with Burnett as well. And now this is getting interesting because no lap calls in between the top 2. And I think Aaron Lewis is closing back into our race leader here.
And now that there's no one in between D'Amata and Luke's right here, that 38's going to have a shot again. And look at this, Ladovic Charette about to get lapped here by a first-time driver. You can tell this is an equal ratings race.
Yep.
Their current points leader in the Wawa Cup Series, as a matter of fact, and our pole sitter for tomorrow night in the Coca-Cola 600 as well. So, she was locked in for that, and she was. She got spun into the wall. It was really not her fault, and that really sent her back. She would have had a shot at winning the feature if she made it in, but not the case for her here. But we'll see how she affects the outcome of this race. Aaron Lukes keeps on going wide right there in that 38 machine, and that's just holding them up from getting around this 30 machine. And if D'Amata can get around Ladovic right here, I think she's going to have a good shot at getting around the 51. Good shot at winning this Consolation Race as we're closing in on the last quarter of this thing already.
Definitely, and D'Amato trying to already take a peek to the inside of Ladovic Charette, but Charette got a pretty decent run there on the outside. D'Amato going to try again here in turns 1 and 2. Ladovic, though, still hanging on, but D'Amato, I think, finally is going to get it done here through turns 3 and 4. Is going to clear Ladovic Charette, and now has a lap car in between herself and the 38 of Aaron Lukes, who I think has a fast car, but he kind of just keeps overdriving in the corners, keeps going wide. Might have a battle here heating up for the 3rd position, or at least there was for Bradley Ream there. Went pretty wide, but Marcus Glitch, Bradley Ream, and Michael Lewis might be going at it up there for the 3rd position. Got Dylan Matthews back here in the 7th position there in the 49, and Aaron Abel. How about Abel? He's had a tough night all night long, and started towards the back, I believe, here in the Consolation Race, and he's made his way up here into the top 10.
Very thrown into a rough night for Aaron Abel here tonight. And we'll see if we can get some more spots. Neely and Haas going at it, and there's still battles all over the place, and this is a very fun cool model racetrack. And oh yeah, this 30 might be the best car out here tonight, and that's the 3rd fastest lap here in this Consolation Race, so no surprise that.
You got to be careful not to let Duncan Ward get to the inside of her, though, because that's going to mess things up. Oh boy.
She let him get to the inside.
Oh boy. Don't let Duncan cook.
And Lutz just needs to pass one more lap car, and we might have a fight out of hands. Never mind, the 30's going to go back on Duncan.
Inside.
Lutz is closing. I bet he goes wide there. Keeps making that same mistake going wide, and that's costing him a lot of time, but might have a shot here on the 51 Ladovic Charette. Not quite going to get there just yet. And we got a slow car up ahead.
Oh
That's
my
Aaron
goodness, it's Abel!
No!
Oh no!
Something happened
That was right in front of D'Amata.
Oh my goodness. That slowed down to 30. And now Duncan's gonna go wide and he's gonna get turned!
Oh no!
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
man. The caution is out! The caution is out!
Oh my! It just kept getting worse for Aaron. He got hit by Duncan in the pit lane. Oh brother!
There's only a
We're
handful.
gonna have a late race restart.
Oh my goodness. There's only a few drivers that really don't want to come back to this racetrack, and one of them might be unable. That's unfortunate. A lot of stuff happened there. I think Abel got turned, and then Duncan Wood got turned into pit road, and we're gonna have a late race shootout here in the Consolation Race. Let's go ahead and see what all transpired here for the third caution in the Consolation Race. Here we go, let's wrap up for the third caution of the night, and you might be wondering, how is this a caution? Well, in a moment, but Duncan Wood, a lap car right in front of second place of Aaron Lutz, gets tight up and up against the wall, gets turned, and you know, he was going about 80 miles an hour into pit road, and barely missed Aaron Abel, freaked out, and because I guess he went through the wall barely, that ended up bringing out a caution, but honestly that probably would be a caution in real life, so that's understandable, but a tough break for Duncan Wood, and a tough break for Aaron Abel here tonight. Almost gets hit a mere inches away from a flying Duncan Wood, so that's what brought the third caution, and let's take a look at full speed and get back to the restart.
Gonna see here, Aaron Luce gonna get into the 7 of Duncan Ward, and he goes flying down the pit lane hard into the wall. And that is what's going to bring out our caution here late in the going here at Anderson. I guess if I was an official, it would make sense to tell the caution, because Duncan Ward kinda got spun Mach 3 into the pit lane, and Aaron Abel almost got dunked on, but we're under caution here at the Anderson Speedway, and we're gonna have ourselves a late race restart.
Absolutely had a 60 to 65 lap point flag one there, a lot of fun, and now we're gonna have a 15 lap shootout, and we'll see on who can get the job done. Let's get back racing here in the Consolation Race for 2025 Little 250. Welcome back to the Consolation Race here at Anderson Speedway. What a race this has been, and I'm sorry to Ladova, I meant to wave her around and I accidentally DQ'd her. She was all the way lapped down.
You sent her to Dairy Queen.
I did. Ladova, I hope you enjoy it. That one's on me.
Hey, you know what? The chicken strip basket's pretty good.
That is true. 9 laps to go in the Consolation Race. This is going to be over in a couple of minutes.
Oh,
Great restart.
He's got a shot.
The restart.
They're 3 wide behind.
Oh boy.
Oh, my.
Oh no, tempers.
No, not Lewis.
Bradley was not happy about that. We got tempers at Anderson.
That's a late race restart for you. Nobody giving an inch.
How about another late race restart? And Andrews almost had it right there.
Well, he's going to have another shot here.
Oh boy. And to think could be a preview of what we see in the feature tonight. Restarts are wild on this quarter mile here tonight. Whew. Well, Bradley might have some explaining to do on that one. Let's go and see what happened for the fourth caution of the night. And then let's get to a late race restart here at Anderson Speedway. Here we go. This is right after the restart, after the third caution, and this was our fourth caution. The 77 of Marcus Glitch went a little bit wide. Michael Lewis filled the gap, and then Bradley Ream, the number 6, got to the inside. Lewis turns Glitch into Bradley Ream. And this is a quarter mile track, so I guess Temples decided to flare. Ream was mad at the 77 because I guess he thought he was the one that tried taking him out, so he just sent it into Glitch, and then eventually takes out the car that originally took him out of Michael Lewis, and I think that's going to take out the 54 here tonight, and that's a tough break. Michael Lewis had a very fast car here tonight, all night long, and that NOS Energy Drink car is finally done. here in this one. But Bradley's not going to be too happy with that one, and it's short track tempers here on a Thursday night at Anderson Speedway.
Well, a late race restart here, and of course, the tempers are probably going to be pretty high as the patience running thin, and you're going to see here another day, another 3-wide incident, and Bradley Ream probably just not wanting to give an inch, sends it just about full throttle there into turn number 3, collects Marcus Glitch and Michael Lewis, and resulting in a bit of a slight pileup there in turns 3 and 4, so tough break for everybody involved, especially Michael Lewis, which doesn't put him out of the race. That's definitely at least going to put him out of contention, and Marcus Glitch and Bradley Ream definitely with a little bit of damage there, but that is going to set us up for another late race restart here from the Anderson Speedway, so have to see how it all play out.
Another late race restart, and this time it's going to be a 4-lap dash. This race will be over in basically less than a minute. So, let's see who wins the Consolation Race. Will it be the 30, the 38, or will someone else steal it? Restarts have been crazy. Let's see on who wins the Consolation Race right now at Anderson Speedway. Well, this has been a wild Consolation Race, and the winner will get a guaranteed spot into next year's feature. It's going to come down to a 4-lap restart, and if Aaron Lutz does what he's done all night long, he has been Mr. Restart. But he needs a good one here, 4 laps to go in the Consolation Race, and he gets a good one once again.
Oh, he got a good one. He's going to have a shot here.
The Mata goes up wide, then that 38's going to have a chance, and here he goes!
And look at the 46 of Keegan Thompson underneath Matthews for the 3rd position. 2 to go, and Luke's trying to clear, but the Mata's trying to hang it on the outside.
And Lutz to the top spot. The Mata's going to have a shot still. White flag in the Consolation Race, but it's not going to be enough. How about this Mr. Restart here tonight? He's good at them all night long. And Lutz will win the Consolation Race and gets a guaranteed spot into the 2026 Little 250 feature.
Well, how about that for Aaron Lukes? That was a great opportunity for him, and he took advantage of it, as he should. That was fun.
When I tell you this track cuts with a full feel, I meant it. What a waste that was. And what a restart. Whew. Wow, what a Consolation Race. And you know what, all that, and it only took like a half hour, roughly, in game. So, that's how fast things go by here at Anderson Speedway. And what a Consolation Race. Analysts led early. Demala closed in late, took it away. Looked like had the best car, and it came down to the restart. Keegan Thompson got thrown out of nowhere, and Aaron Lutz took it very late. And how about that one? Aaron Lutz wins the Consolation Race. Not into the feature, but he's into next year's feature. So, what a job well done from Aaron Lutz and the number 38 here tonight.
That was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to this feature race now because they're what we saw here, and we're going to have 250 laps. This is going to be wild stuff when we get 250 laps here around this racetrack with 22 cars. But that was such a fun race and some massive moments right there. And we sent Ladovic Charette to Dairy Queen, and we had all of it here in this Consolation Race. And hey, you know, it's all leading up to this feature event. Who's going to get it done? You know, Aaron Lukes won this race from the pole. Travis Crampton's on the pole for the feature. This is going to be a lot of fun here in just a moment for the official, the real Little 250.
This is about to be a spectacular feature race. What a race this was here from the Consolation Race. That was, like Alex said, that was a lot of fun. It was action-packed, had a lot of passing, just about everything you could ask for, a little bit of chaos up in there. And I guess, like I like to say, great racing, excuse me, great racing, a little bit of chaos, and maybe just a pinch of controversy there with sending Ladovic Charette to Dairy Queen. But hey, like I said, she could potentially get a chicken strip basket out of that, and hey, I wouldn't be mad if I got sent to Dairy Queen for a chicken strip basket. But regardless of the fact, That was an absolutely spectacular race, and I cannot wait to see what the feature will have in store, because it's gonna cook.
22 drivers, 250 laps, a halfway caution. It's going to be a lot of fun, and who knows, we could see a late race restart in that one, and we could see a copy and paste of what we just saw. What a race. And Analoots, congratulations. Let me know in the Discord if you want that spot. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And we'll see what ends up happening next year. But enough of the Consolation, the LCQ, and the heat races. It's been a fun night. That race solidified it. I'm pumped up, and I bet you guys are too. It is time for the feature of the 2025 in the inaugural Little 250 presented by Gainbridge. Let's get things on the road. 22 of the best drivers on the channel right now here at Anderson Speedway. The heat races, check. LCQs, check. Consolation Race, check. One more race to go, and it's 250 laps at Anderson Speedway for the Little 250 presented by Gainbridge feature. 22 of the best drivers will do battle, and we'll see on who ends up gaining the first ever feature win. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway, and you're in for a fun night for the feature. It's been a fun night already, and I appreciate everyone for joining us. I appreciate Alex and Caleb for joining me, as this has been a lot behind the scenes, and it's definitely going to be a fun feature. I'm going to ask Alex and then Caleb, for these 22 drivers, this is the longest race of the night, and it's not even close. What do you have to do to manage your stuff for 250 laps and get the first ever win in this event?
Well, you gotta make sure that you don't wreck. And we've seen quite a bit of chaos tonight in some of these races. We've seen some pretty hard hits as well. And you're only going to be able to win the race if you still have a car at the end of the race. So that's the number one thing. And secondly, just be patient and make sure that you stay on the lead lap, especially near the end of the race. Now, the one interesting thing, we'll have a mid-race break at 1:25 for this race. And everyone who's just one lap down will get their lap back, so everyone's going to get a free pass. So it's an all-free pass type of race tonight, and that's going to make things very, very unique for what we're going to see here in this little 250. So first 125 laps is kind of setting up for that restart once we get midway through, and then that restart going through the rest of the race, that's when the real race begins here in this little 250, and it's going to be wild here at Anderson Speedway.
We've seen so far here tonight that the bottom is easily the fastest way around this racetrack, and consistently hitting that is going to be where our fastest laps come from. So I think consistency is definitely going to be the key here tonight, consistently keeping your car glued to that bottom of the racetrack, and that's where I think a lot of what we're going to see out of a lot of our front runners here tonight. But we know it can be easy to kind of overstep the corners, slide wide, and that can definitely cost yourself quite a bit of time. So I think consistency is definitely going to be the name of the game here to win tonight's feature here from the Little 250.
Absolutely. Gotta be consistent, gotta stay out of the wall, gotta stay out of lap traffic, and just gotta survive for 250 laps. On the pole is the Heat 1 winner of Travis Crampton, and alongside him is Heat Race number 2 winner of Stuart Grand. Heat Race number 3 winner, Kasumi Takashi, starts 3rd, and then Heat Race number 4 winner of Ace Garcia is in 4th. 5th is Tanya Pun. 6th is Juan Dewani. 7th is Campbell Mosh. 8th in the number 19 is Alexis Selspin. 9th is Howie Anderson Jr. 10th is Bernardo De Oliveira. 11th is Kobe Light. 12th was Andrew Williams. 13th is Bryce Egan. 14th in the 14 car, ironically, is Leonard Kochma. 15th is David Dixon. 16th is Caleb Rose. 17th is Joey Hightower. 18th is Bucky Campbell. 19th is Anthony Hernandez. And then 20th, the last driver that made in from the heat races, is the little guy Benny Watson in number 79. And then the LCQ winners, Logan Williams starts 21st, and Nico Saint-Badillo starts 22nd. So we'll see what happens for those drivers. Caleb and Alex, who do you guys think will win the 2025 Little 250 feature?
I do think, especially here in this first run, the inside lane is definitely where you want to be, and I think we're going to see a lot of those cars find their way towards the front here early on in the going, and a lot of cars on the outside might start slipping back a little bit if they are not careful, but once we start maybe getting the cautions, like the half race break, I think this race is going to really start to turn around, and we might see a lot of those cars up on the outside lane maybe start making their way back towards the front of the field. So I'm going to go with a car on the outside lane here to get the race win, and you know how the saying goes, you can't spell greatness without GRT, and I'm going to go with the number 19 of Alexis Selsman to get it done here in the little 250.
Well, I think you're right about that, Caleb. You can't spell greatness without GRT, and, well, you can't have GRT without Grattan, and that is Stuart Grattan starting outside pole for this race. I know the outside pole's not been the best placed for a lot of these events that we've seen so far tonight, but this is a 250-lap event, and there's going to be a lot of time for Stuart to move his way to the inside and find himself up front as this race moves on. So give me Stuart Grattan. Can't go against Stuart Grattan in a race such as this.
Absolutely, and we'll see what ends up happening. For 250 laps, we will have a mid-race break, mid-race caution at lap 125, and we'll see on who ends up winning the first ever Little 250. Thanks for everyone that has joined us here tonight. Thanks for Alex and Caleb for joining me for this event. It's been a fun one, and we're about to see on who wins the feature. All night long it has led up to this, and it will be Travis Clampton and Stuart Brown leading us to the green flag in the 2025 Little 250 presented by Gainbridge is green at Anderson Speedway. Good stuff from Clampton, but a even better start for Takashi there in the number 27 machine. And here comes Tanner Pullen in the number 8 as well, and this is where you want to make as many positions up as possible here early on. And you gotta make up as many positions as possible, especially the further back you are. Here comes Howley Anderson Jr. in the number 13 as well.
Yeah, and Stewart not getting off to a great start from the outside lane. We'll see if he can find his way to that inside anytime soon. You got Bryce Egan also looking to the inside. Kobe Light to the inside of Haley Anderson Jr. Here comes Bryce on Stuart Grattan, and a lot of movement throughout the entire field here at Anderson Speedway. But it's a Mr. Travis Crampton who is pulling to a significant lead right now on that 05 machine. And, we say, significant, and it's only 0.8 of a second right there. But considering the battles we got a battle for fourth there. Kobe Light there on Campbell Marsh. And Bryce Egan bumping off of Haley Anderson Jr. right there. Some great stuff, some great hard racing here at the Anderson Speedway early on.
A lot of battles here on the racetrack in the early stages as everybody's trying to jostle for whatever they can. Here comes the 86 of Ryan Durrani taking a peek underneath Joey Hightower and the 13 of Anderson Jr. who slaps the outside wall there. And now here comes the 62 of Joey Hightower looking to the inside, the 85 of Ace Race who started there on the outside lane. Actually did a pretty good job. He's back down to the bottom. He's still up here inside the top 10. How about this 17 of Logan Williams? Your LCQ winner started all the way towards the back. He's now knocking on the door of the top 10. And he's got his brother Andrew Williams right behind him.
How about that? We didn't know of how well the LCQ winners would go from the back up to the front as fast as we expected this to be. 10 laps, and Andrew Williams is inside, almost inside the top 10. Actually, he is inside the top 10 for now. But it's Williams versus Williams for the 10th spot, and fantastic stuff. And Sam Dio, who started 22nd, is also just outside the top 10. So clearly, that's an indication that you can easily make a pass here tonight, and anyone has a shot, especially with it being 250 laps, and especially with that halfway caution on lap 25 or 125. Clampton all the way with 1.5 second lead, but Tampa not too far behind in second. Takashi and Colby Light first start on the channel in fourth. And how about Bryce Egan in the number 9? One of 2 Coca-Cola cars in the field, and both of them are inside the top 10 right now. And it's going to be a fun night, and especially when we catch up to lap traffic. And it's only going to take 15 laps, as unfortunately Leonard Kotzma is the first one to bite the bullet from our race leader of Travis Crampton.
Well, he hasn't bit the bullet quite yet. But he is currently the last car on the racetrack right now, and they're still shuffling back behind. You got Alexis Selsman there and Benny Watson trying to avoid going a lap down. Remember what I said. All these guys who end up 1 lap down are going to get back on the lead lap when we get to that mid-race break. And, this is kind of, a little bit of a testing session for these guys to see what they've got for that mid-race break. And, they're going to keep on battling like this. That's going to make it hard for Travis Crampton to get around him. That could pull Tanner Parton in for this race lead here early on in this feature event.
Definitely could, as Kochemer also trying to avoid potentially going a lap down, but Crampton's definitely going to have to be careful with all these guys racing each other really aggressively, just not wanting to be the first to go a lap down. And Tanner Barton's been kind of quietly closing in the last couple laps. He's almost got the gap down to his second as Crampton goes wide there once again through 3 and 4, and Barton is definitely going to be within a second this time by. He's about 3/4 of a second now back from the 05 and is rapidly closing as Crampton continues to go up there to the high side. And you got Takashi not too far back as well. Same for Kobe Light and Bryce Egan there up in the top 5. But yeah, lap traffic is definitely going to change the outcome of this race, and we're definitely seeing it right here as Tanner Barton has really closed into Crampton. He goes wide just a little bit there, but as far as this lead battle goes, it's on between Crampton and Barton.
It definitely is on, and we're going to see this always long for basically from lap 15 up to lap 125, unless we get a caution in between. Lap 12 will be a factor, and I don't know what happened to Stuart Grant. He's now in last place all of a sudden. And is he a lap down? Or no,
he just fell to the back.
Fell back. I don't know what happened, but second place to 22nd now, and just 24 laps for Stuart Grant. Oh my.
Yeah, that's definitely, our two picks are doing well. We're going to have a battle for the race lead here. Travis Crampton slipping up the racetrack, trying to find a way around Stewart. He has not lapped anybody yet, and Tanner Barton may end up taking this race lead before they lap anybody in this race, and he will do so to the inside here. Lap 26, only a 10th of the way through this race. We got a new race leader. It's Tanner Barton here in Anderson Speedway.
Crampton maybe tried to struggle to find a way around Grattan there, and Barton to the inside takes the race lead away, and now Crampton's under fire for the second position as here comes a 27, a Kasumi Takashi. What a race win that would be for Takashi, winning the Little 250 presented by Gainbridge in the Gainbridge-sponsored car. That would definitely be something, but he's got one more car in front of him if he wants to have a shot at that, and that's the 8 of Tanner Barton, who looks like he's finally trying to put the 23 of Stuart Grattan a lap down. Not the best start for the GRT-powered cars, as Grattan now goes a lap down, and Alexis Selspin is the next in line. But like we've been saying, once we get to that mid-race break, we'll start waving guys around, so the race isn't over just yet, but definitely probably a blow there to the Grattan cars.
Absolutely. Once we get to that mid-race caution, that will be basically everyone that has a lap down. That was almost supposed for Tampon. Look at one lap back, but if you somehow go multiple laps down, then you will stay multiple laps down, and you only get one lap back. So that is a key factor that these guys have to worry about, and that's probably why they are being kind of tame, because they realize, hey, if we get into a wreck and we have to pit and fix our car, we're going to go not just one lap down, but multiple laps down here in this race, and that's going to take us out entirely. So be patient with that. Tampon doing a good job going past both GLT cars, and now Crampton in second, Takashi in third, and how about Bryce Egan making a move again? He's still going back and forth for the 4th place spot.
Yeah, Bryce has had a great race, and saw right up to the 4th position right there, about to lap Stuart Graham. Tough break for both the GRT guys, and I'd love to see. I'd love to see the good teams, run well in all the races, and this is not the case for those guys here tonight, at least in the feature. Though they did both make it into this race, they have fallen off a little bit here. Bryce Egan getting around Stuart Graham right there. That 23 just completely off the pace after starting outside pole, and looks like my pick may not end up winning this race. But like I said, they're all going to get back on the lead lap as long as they stay only one lap down for the mid-race break around lap 125. Like Kobe Light right here. How about Ryan Durrani inside the top 10? Great run for Durrani in that 86 machine. Haley Anderson Jr., and then you got Ace Racer, Logan Williams inside the top 10. And these are guys that once we get to that restart could have an opportunity of moving up. And if we get more restarts, we get more cautions later on after that first restart, they could definitely end up finding themselves closer and closer to the front as this race moves along here tonight.
Definitely. I think all these guys in the top 10 have a pretty good shot if we do get a caution at potentially making a move towards the front of the field. Bryce Egan there got passed by the 23 of Stuart Grattan, and now looks like he might be under fire here soon from the 99 of Campbell Marsh. Travis Crampton, though, maybe trying to close back in on the 8 of Tanner Barton. He's gotten the gap back to under a second. See if Barton can maybe close back, or Crampton, can close back in and take that race lead back. Parton may be kind of struggling a little bit with a lapped car. And Kasumi Takashi also there in the 27. He's got clean air in front of him, so our top three are in a line right now.
And this is going to be a factor all night long. We saw it in the Consolation Race. It was a big-time factor, and it's definitely being a factor here as Tampon almost made contact with Caleb Rose, the clone, and he's trying to get around the lap car, and he's going to get a good one down into turn 3 and 4, and he's going to put a lap car in between himself and Tampon. And I will say this is not looking it for my two World Cup Series drivers. This is an equal ratings event. It's just ironic that they are 1-2 at the moment, but for how long as Takashi is flying, Bryce Egan is flying in that number 9 machine as well. So there's definitely going to be a lot of contenders here in this one. We're not even a fifth of the way through here in the feature.
Yeah, I'd watch out for Bryce Egan as well as this race moves along. I think that 9 machine may be one of the faster cars. Takashi's got a fast car as well in the 27, trying to get around Travis Crampton right here. And this is not the usual spot for Crampton from what he's seen tonight. He led every lap at his heat race and led the first 27 or so laps in this one, but Tanner Parton still kind of holding on to this race lead, about a second ahead of Crampton right now. He's only lapped one car, though, since he got around that 05 machine. Only one car in between the two. And here comes Takashi for the second position there. So 27 making a move to the inside of the 05 there for position as Alexis Selzman almost in the outside wall behind him. And now you got David Dixon under fire there from Tanner Parton, looking to get lapped right there as we're now a fifth of the way now through this little 250 here at Anderson Speedway.
Fifth of the way through here, and it's Tanner Parton out front, although he's kind of going at it here with the 45 of David Dixon, trying to find a way around him. Kasumi Takashi now up into the second position, past the 05 of Travis Crampton. And how about the 62 of Joey Hightower up here inside the top 10? Kobe Light still holding his own here in the top 10. Howie Anderson Jr., Ace Racer, Campbell Marsh. I got close there, as now Logan Williams looking to try and make his way here back up at the top 10. Like I said, all these guys up here I think might have a really good shot to get a caution flag to make their way up potentially towards the front of the field if they can get a good restart. Yeah, restarts are definitely going to be a key factor in this race because, of course, everybody's going to get bunched back together, and one mistake on these restarts can send you pretty far back with everybody bunched up like that. So definitely want to nail the restarts when they do happen, but we'll just have to wait and see how everything goes down. But right now, what is going down is Tanner Parton getting it back up to the lead and pulling away right now, although Kasumi Takashi's been actually kind of closing in these last few laps as Tanner's kind of struggled a little bit with passing the 45 of David Dixon. We'll see if Takashi has anything here for our race leader, Tanner Parton.
And right outside, wouldn't this be ironic if the Gainbridge car wins the little 250 presented by Gainbridge? And when this car and driver combination signed up and I saw Gainbridge, I was like, okay, that's very fitting. So I'm glad that we saw a Gainbridge car for the Gainbridge Little 250. And a good night for Kasumi Takashi, obviously, development driver to Matthew Hubert. And having a good night so far. And Tanner Parton is having a fantastic night, but cannot get around David Dixon for the life of him. And that's allowing Takashi and Crampton to stay relatively close, close to enough to him, to his back bumper, and that's not going to be good. Parton's going to try and rip the outside lane, and we might have battle for the race lead here momentarily.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here not to put himself in a position where he gets stuck in the outside lane too much, but he's going to get stuck in the outside lane right here as Tasumi Takashi, my apologies, keep getting it mixed up right there. Matthew Hubert's driver doing a great job. Third different leader of this race, and we're only on lap 62. It's a very competitive race, and the most competitive race we have seen all night long on this lap traffic, as we very much suspected going into this, has really played a huge factor in how this race has played out here at the Anderson Speedway. I almost said Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's Saturday for the Indy 250, by the way. We're excited for that one, and it's been a great race so far here as Takashi is out front in the 27.
Great pass there by Takashi, and now we'll see if the 27 can maneuver his way around the 45 of David Dixon, or it might end up being the car he's fighting right now, the 88 of Anthony Hernandez. It's going to get stuck up there on the outside lane, so that could definitely give Takashi the opportunity to get by the 88 there. He's going to try and get down to the inside. If he can get to the quarter panel, he's got a good shot. There he goes. almost made contact there down the front straightaway, but Takashi is going to get by the 88 of Fernandez there, put a lap car in between himself and Tanner Parton. Might try to go for David Dixon here as well. 45 goes a little bit wide there through 3 and 4, and again here through 1 and 2. Takashi is going to get to the quarter panel, kind of side drafted down the straightaway and into 3 and 4. Is going to pass David Dixon, and now there's 2 lapped cars in between this 27 and this 8 machine. Takashi doing a really good job here at maneuvering his way around this lap traffic.
And that is what it's going to come down to, especially late in this race, depending on what ends up happening with the, either we get a late race restart like the Consolation Race, or if it ends up going clean after the mid-race caution. Is lap traffic is going to be a factor, and you can have a good car, but you have to get past the lap down cars the best, and that's what Takashi is doing at the moment. Tanner Parton in the second place spot. Still got battles all over this cool mile. Crampton in third behind Hernandez, almost turned him off turn 4. Bryce Egan in fourth, and there might be a lot that we have to watch out for tonight. Juan Duane inside the top 5 now in number 86, maybe even inside the top 4. Campbell Mosh in the 6th position, and then Ace Racer was in the 7th position, but now that goes to the 73 of Kobe Light having a good one. Ace Racer in 8th, Howard Anderson Jr. in 9th, and then the LCQ number 1 winner, Logan Williams, still inside the top 10, and Joey Hightower just outside the top 10 in the 11th, Bucket Campbell in 12th, LCQ number 2 winner of Nicholas Sam Deal is in 13th, Dio Rivera in 14th, Andrew Williams in the 15th position, almost got turned by Kotzma, and then Watson was 17th, was the last car on the lead lap, but now he just got put a lap down. So that was a lead lap 1 down, impromptu, and we are 75 laps in to the feature.
And Takashi now pulling away here from the 8 machine of Tanner Parton, and starting to lap some cars in between him and the 8 machine as well. And Travis Crampton might have a shot at getting back to the 2nd position here on Tanner Parton. And then how about 3rd place of Bryce Egan? He's still very much in this thing as well. And like I said, once we get to a restart, this is a guy to watch out for. Same with Ryan Durrani as well. He was closer to Bryce Egan not too long ago, but he's fallen off. But hasn't fallen off as much as the GRT cars in this race. And Stuart Cradden and Alexis Silsman struggling out here tonight, but said as long as you stay 1 lap down, everyone stays on the lead lap once we get to that restart. And we're closing in on it. Only about 45 laps to go until we get to that mid-race break on lap 125. And if you're Kasumi Takashi, you do not want to necessarily see that caution, as they're trying to lap as many cars as they can, though they're getting put on the outside. And here we go again. David Dixon got back around. Benny also got around the 27 right there. Here comes Tanner Parton looking to possibly take this race lead away.
That's definitely not what you want to have happen, as Takashi probably got stuck up there on the outside and got passed by both Watson and the 45 of David Dixon, and now that's really drawn the 8 of Tanner Parton close in. And not far behind Parton, you've also got the 05 of Travis Crampton looking to get in on this action. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer lap by lap to that mid-race break, and once we get there, that's really going to shake things up, as now, gosh, you'll have to play a lot more defense, because we'll have a lot of hungry cars right behind her, so we'll have to see how everything goes down. But Takashi right now getting back around the 45 of David Dixon, now trying to set sights again on the 79 of Benny Watson. And honestly, I just kind of want to give a shout out to the 14 of Leonard Kochmer. I think I remember that 14 was, a while back, in danger of becoming the first car a lap down, but seems like ever since then he's really started picking up the pace, and now he's up into the 15th position. So it's been a pretty good recovery here so far for the 14 of Leonard Kochmer. I'd honestly kind of watch out for that car once we get to that restart.
Absolutely, and that restart after that for caution can really shake up some things. As we saw in the Consolation Race, that restart and multiple restarts in that race were very chaotic, and that could be the case here tonight. But a nice long green flag 1 here in the Real 250 feature, and I will say I don't think I've jinxed anyone here tonight. That's a kind of impressive.
We have.
Yeah, you guys have. You've done that for me.
Stuart and Alexis have not had a good run tonight.
Yeah, you two have done that for me, and it's still over, but the stable change has not happened, but we still have a long way to go here in the feature.
Yeah, and everyone's just kind of settling in at this point, but, you know, they're waiting for that mid-race break, and then that's when all heck's going to break loose and we get a single-file restart. And I think even after the restart, we might see a few wrecks that take place because of that. But, you know, no point in being too aggressive at this point, knowing that that mid-race break is coming. So you want to see what your car is capable of. Of course, you know, like we mentioned very early on in the night, we have a very hard tire on these cars, and these guys could go the whole way, but they still have to manage those tires as well. And this is the same tire that they're going to be on all the way to the end of this race, lap 250. So you want to make sure that you protect your stuff at this point in the race and not overdo it. Otherwise, some other drivers might have an advantage on you, as Caleb's trying to, well, not necessarily unlap himself, but get that 05 stuck in the outside lane. All these guys are kind of tightly packed in their respective positions right now. Even Takashi's not been able to get around Benny Watson right there, as Watson remains on the lead lap here on lap 94.
And just trying to make things interesting back here for the third position, but yeah, it's continuing to get closer and closer to that mid-race break. I think everyone right now is just kind of settling in and getting ready for that mid-race break, because, yeah, like Alex said, I think once we get into the second half of the race, these guys really might start ramping the aggression up, especially after that restart, because of course there is still the chance for wrecks, but it's not a guarantee. So that restart could pretty much probably be the last opportunity for some of these guys, if we don't get a caution, to make up a lot of ground in a short period of time. So sure, we're going to see a lot of aggression on the restart, and all these guys definitely want to set themselves up for a good position getting to that restart. But looks like Kasumi Takashi might end up getting the mid-race break. We'll just have to see. Still got a couple laps left to go, and Tanner Parton trying to close back in.
Still got about 27 laps to go. Basically got a heat race length left to go here until we get to the halfway caution. And of course everyone has one lap down, which I believe that is everyone so far, and it is. We'll get
boy,
back on the race lead, and oh boy, these lap cars, they're causing problems.
It's the second time Benny's done that.
Might have to talk to Benny after that race and figure out why he's doing that to the
He's
lead
allowed
lap
to do
cars.
what he wants. This is his channel. Actually, no. I mean, it's AG the channel, not BW the channel. So
Because of that,
I mean, as you said, you know, the lap traffic is what's going to create this race to be, or make this race be as good as it has been. And we've already seen 3 different leaders in this race. This is the most we've seen in any event so far here tonight. And we're going to see some more lead changes as this race goes along as well, as Tanner Parton's still right there on the 27 machine for this race lead. Parton's had a great night.
oh,
And even Parton's
Oh my goodness.
Oh, someone impaled the wall. That's Bucky Campbell, and someone
Whoa.
else's
the 13th
also
Halley
down. Anderson's
Jr.
down the pit lane as well. Oh my.
Well,
Yikes.
that's not what
We had seen a lot of wrecks in the heat races where they kind of shot into the pit lane, and I always thought, oh my goodness, it's only a matter of time before someone ends up hitting the wall. Well, it looks like somebody did right there, and oh boy, here we go. Our first caution is going to be our first restart of the night. 100 laps in to this little 250.
Well, that was not good. That's why this is a video game. But that is going to be a big time change, and results will be very, very chaotic, and this is going to look out for everyone. They will get the laps back, and we'll see what ends up happening. Let's see what happens to bring out the first caution of the night in the feature race for the little 250. Here we go. This will happen to bring out the first caution of the night after over 100 laps of action of green flag racing, and unfortunately, Bucky Campbell and Halley Anderson Jr. both had great ones going here tonight. But we've seen this all night long. Turn 2, going on to pit road was a trouble spot. We didn't see this though. The 98 of Bucky Campbell gets impaled in the wall, and then Halley Anderson Jr. continues on into the inside wall of the pit road, and that is going to end up taking both of these drivers out, unfortunately. And I was worried if that would happen at some point tonight, and unfortunately it did. Tough play for Halley Anderson Jr. and Bucky Campbell.
Watching here, Bucky Campbell and Halley Anderson Jr. going to get into it down the back straight away, and just Bucky Campbell arch angle there into the pit wall. Unfortunately, I believe that's going to take both drivers out of this race, and kind of like we said, thankfully it is a video game, so the drivers are fine, but unfortunately the cars, not so much.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take both of those cars out of the one in here tonight. And that's a very tough break, but Takashi has been very strong. But we have to do a first restart of the night. And we'll see what happens on this one here for the Little 250 feature. Welcome back to the Little 250 feature. A extended caution there to fix the pit wall that Bucky Campbell just destroyed. And yeah, that was bad. So it's going to be a very late midway sprint. This is going to be 11 laps to go until the halfway caution here at Anderson Speedway.
Yeah, this is going to fall in Travis Crampton's favor. I think this 05 is a pretty fast car. He's going to get around Tanner Parton right there. You got Bryce Egan also looking to make a move on the 8 machine as well. Ryan Durrani is also looking to make a spot. 8 machine falling back right there, and that is a tough break for Tanner Parton, who seemed to have a very quick car earlier on in this race, but now he's all the way back in the 5th position.
Parton continues to lose spots, and yeah, just getting stuck up on the outside there off of the restart. Everyone was bunched together, and he continues to slip wide, so he could potentially lose some more spots here, as now here comes the 62 of Joey Hightower, who's made up quite a bit of ground since that restart, trying to get underneath the 8 of Tanner Parton. Campo Marsh Nicholas Samadio in the 89 is now up here inside the top 10. It was been a good restart for Samadio.
Caleb and Leonard, and Caleb's in the wall.
Big hit.
And that one hurt.
Live from the car, Caleb says that it hurt. There's no safer barrier there, so I guess that makes sense. Well, I mean, we're just about to get another restart as well, because we're only 5 laps away from the halfway point. How about Bryce Egan up to 3rd right now? He's going to go for 2nd, and that means that on the next restart, if Bryce can get around Crampton right here, which he very well could do so, he's going to have a shot right here going into turn number 3. Bryce Egan might have a shot at getting this race lead here on Tatsumi Takashi for the race lead.
Oh yeah, that 9, we mentioned it earlier when he was making his way up inside the top 5, and now he's up to the 2nd place spot. Fantastic one for Bryce Egan here tonight. And I would say that unfortunately the 13 and the 98 are both out. Looks like Caleb Bowes is still staying out there, so I guess maybe just trying to make it to the halfway caution here in another lap's time. What a interesting race so far. And on the back stretch, we will bring out the first of the midway caution. And there we go. And it would be Takashi winning the midway caution. And because we had a caution earlier, this would be a quick one. We don't have to wait anyone around. So it kind of works out nicely. Wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Bowes goes down pit road to fix damage.
He's giving us a lot of problems tonight.
Oh boy. But halfway through, we get to have a little break, and Bryce Egan can think about what he does on this restart, because he might have a car capable of winning this thing. So with that being said, let's quickly take a 5-second break, and let's get back to the second half of the 2025 Little 250. Welcome back to the 2025 Little 250. We will go back wing with 120 laps to go at the line next time by, and we'll see what ends up happening. No more guaranteed yellows, so the only way that we will get another restart is if these guys wreck them up. But hopefully they don't, and hopefully we can stay going. A fantastic restart from Takashi and a slow one from Bryce Egan.
It caught Bryce Egan sleeping right there. And that might open the door for Travis Crampton. Now we got Ace Racer making a move on Kobe Light, I do believe, back in there. And here comes Crampton for 2nd. And take that right back away from Bryce.
Tanner Parton to the inside of Campo Marsh.
Oh, no!
Oh, there goes Joey.
Or gets hooked into the pit lane. And no caution for that, but that's a heartbreaker there for Joey Hightower. Getting taken out running inside the top 10. My goodness, yeah, it's like I said, it's going to start getting a lot more aggressive now. Since, you know, that, like I said, that was the last guaranteed caution. But judging by how these guys are racing, I wouldn't be surprised if we did get another caution from here on out. But that was a great jump off of the start from the 27 to Kasumi Takashi. And Travis Crampton now up into the 2nd position. Bryce Egan up to 3rd. Ronnie up to 4th. Tanner Parton, excuse me, rounding out your top 5 for the time being. But If we do keep
Uh-oh.
this thing green, we could potentially close into lap traffic here pretty soon as, like I said, once we get to that mid-race break, things are really going to start shaking up. We could see a lot of the cars on that outside lane potentially move back up, and poetry in motion right there as Stuart Gratton's been making his way back to the field here since the restart.
Well, it's like you said, you cannot spell GLT without greatness, the other way around, and that is one good thing about the halfway caution. It gives drivers a chance to reset themselves, figure out what they need to do on the racetrack for the second half, and Stewart's found something as he's back inside the top 7 now. And I think if we get another restart, and what on earth is going on? Oh no!
Oh no!
Alexis Salzman off the pace.
Alexis self-spin has spun.
And that's gonna cause...
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
I think, well, I don't know if that had to do with Caleb or what, but there's some damage on that 19 machine, but there's still no caution for it. You'll see that in the corner of your screen. My goodness. A lot of things that we miss in the front end. For the race lead, you got Crampton right there on the back bumper of Takashi right now for this race lead, and that 05 is looking really quick right now. He was the pulse there. He won his heat earlier on. And once we get to lap traffic, that 05 may have a good opportunity of possibly taking this race lead late in the going. You got Durrani in 3rd, you got Bryce Egan in 4th, and then you got the 8 machine of Tanner Parton in 5th. A great race so far here, and now you got Gratton on the inside of Campbell Marsh right there. Gratton's trying to move his way as far up as he can after he got lapped before we ended up having that first caution.
Well, that really shook things up as everybody kind of had to check up for the 19 of the self-spin, and Takashi right now is pretty much gone with the race lead as they've opened up quite a big gap to the 05 of Travis Crampton. Hello, Takashi. Come back out on the racetrack. Here's our number 59 Chevrolet.
We're under caution.
And, we're under caution.
For the 19.
That was a very fitting moment, and Salzman again.
I think there might be a couple cars with the damage glitch, and I think Caleb might be one of them. Because they're not fixing that car damage on the 59, so we might have to DQ some cars with the glitch so we can limit the cautions, but what a crazy restart, and that's gonna open up everything. Well, how about this? Juan Durrani and Bryce Egan on this restart. It may be even Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to give an opportunity to a lot of guys. Stewart's now up to... no, not Nicholas. I'm wondering if he got caught up in this some way.
He might have. Nothing in the chat.
Tough break for Nicholas Samadillo, and yeah, this is the part of the race we've seen quite a bit of attrition at this point, and a lot of things have happened, especially on that restart. That stint right there was crazy. We're going to restart under 100 laps to go in this little 250, and assuming Takashi's still the race leader, we should be able to hold on to it ahead of Travis Crampton. This 05 is going to have a great shot taking this race lead on the restart.
Absolutely. We're going to let the officials figure everything out in the back, and we will go back green with less than 100 laps to go in the little 250. Well, this is kind of what I thought happened, and this is what happened. Alexis Salzman got involved in a incident that you saw in the corner, came out on the racetrack, and, well, came back up the racetrack right in front of Stuart Gratton. And Stuart Gratton sideswipes Alexis Salzman. And, this is a bad spot to be in for a quarter mile, and I don't think anyone actually made significant contact. So I think that's it. Oh, never mind. There's Samuel. That's where he gets his sandwich. So, yeah, that's the big hit right there. And then that is it. So tough break for the GLC cars. They are going to have a moment in the garage, and a tough break for the LCQ2 winner of Samadillo.
Well, it was Alexis and the no good, terrible, very bad day here at the Anderson Speedway. And that's a teammate, essentially, getting into her. I mean, she had already gotten caught up in that first wreck, which was arguably worse. That should have been a caution, that first wreck that you saw with Andrew Williams and Caleb Rose and Samadillo getting into the 19 right there. Tough break for Salzman and Samadillo, but just the way the cookie crumbles here sometimes at Anderson Speedway. And there were 2 incidents prior to that caution coming out that should have been cautions that were not. But we finally got one there. And we're under our 3rd yellow flag here of the night in the little 250.
What happens at a quarter-mile short track stays at a quarter-mile short track. Let's go ahead and get back to the restart here in this one. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway. We will go back on for exactly 100 laps to go here in the feature, and this is going to be massive on who ends up winning this race. With everybody in the top 5, great restart for Takashi, and Anna Williams is on pit road as well, and here comes Bryce Egan in the number 9.
Good run for Bryce Egan right here in the 9 machine. You know, I talked a lot about him earlier on. I think he might have a good opportunity of winning this race. And another yellow. Quick yellow right there in the back of the field.
Oh.
Kochmer and Hightower and Anthony Hernandez.
That might have been because of the 00 at St. Pit Road. Possibly. So, another caution here. And this is why it was a good thing that we stayed green as long as we did in the first half. And we'll see what happens on the second half. But let's see what happens to bring out another caution I've lost kind of at this point here in the little 250. We're right on the restart in Williams, so I don't know why he was on pit road, but he was. Basically did what Selspin did. And because of this is such a narrow short track, has nowhere to go, especially when they go 2 and almost 3 wide behind him. And this is basically a copy and paste of what happened just the last caution before. Nowhere to go for Leonard Kochmer and nowhere to go for Joey Hightower. A lot of front-end damage on that Coca-Cola machine. And that's unfortunate. Hightower did a good job tonight. We saw him up front at one point early on. And then Samadillo is going to avoid it. What a job from the 89 machine. And same with the 88. But that's what about this caution here at Anderson Speedway.
Well, another day, another pit lane incident as Andrew Williams is going to try to merge on the back straightaway here, right into Kochmer and Joey Hightower. Unfortunately, just know where to go as well. And going to give both cars some pretty significant damage there. And saw pretty much that whole thing unfold from my windshield. And I guess, in the words of the great Fernando Alonso, karma.
Yeah, not a good night for some of these drivers here in the back, and we'll see what ends up happening on the restart with some new players in the midst of this one. Let's get back to the restart here in the little 250 feature. Welcome back to the little 250. It's been a crazy one ever since the halfway caution. Caution after caution, but crazy restart after crazy restart. Now Takashi is going to have another challenger, and this time it is Travis Crampton, who still has a really good car. Dewani with a good one as well, back green. And I think we've got a lot more competitors than just the top 2 at this point.
No, and I think Stewart might be one of them. To the inside of Tanner Barton up to 5th now in that 23, and another yellow. And he keep on giving these restarts. He's going to have a good advantage as we keep on moving on.
Absolutely, and I think some of these yellows might be because of some of these guys that cannot see, so we might have to DQ some people here tonight. I don't want to, but they only have damage.
Joey Hightower to Dairy Queen.
Yep, yep. Oh boy, well, see what happened for another yellow here at Anderson Speedway. Here we go. This is why we are back under caution, and this is something that we didn't even make it out of turn 1 for the leaders, as Samadillo got onto the throttle, got tight. And then Leonard Kochmer tried getting to the inside. Samadillo didn't know he was clear, or didn't know that he was there. And this is going to be a shot for Samadillo, and his not so good, terrible, bad night continues. And a big hit into the inside wall. And for Samadillo, that's really going to take him out of the running for this one. And for Leonard Kochmer, it keeps on getting worse for him in that 14 machine. But that's what happened to bring out this caution here at Anderson Speedway.
You know, we call him Mr. Edge, but there's nothing edgy about this. Tough break for the 89, and it's been a tough race for him as a whole, and Leonard Kochmer just going right to the inside and taking him out. You know, these cautions have just bred cautions, and we've got a rash of them right now. We'll see if it stops. Let's get back to the restart here at Anderson Speedway.
Short track tempos be like that sometimes, and we'll see what happens here. Still got a lot of competitive drivers. And let's get back to the restart here with Kasumi Takashi still in the race lead. Welcome back to Anderson Speedway. We will have about 89 laps to go here in the feature, and we have decided to send 3 people to Dairy Queen. Alyssa Selspin, Caleb Rose, and Joey Hightower. So they're done for the night, and hopefully that will fix the problem of these mid-race cautions, and another restart, and another good one from Ryan Duani in the number 86.
You're gonna put Bryce Egan on the outside. That might open the door for Stewart, who, let's be real here. He is moving up very quick, and Durrani's going to go ahead and take second from Crampton. Great battle for both fourth and second right now, as Takashi still leads this field.
Durrani now up into the second position. Grattan looking for third. Durrani's been looking fast ever since the drop of the green flag, and Stewart's really been coming alive here in this second half of the race. So I'd definitely watch out for these two as this run goes along. And staying caution free for the time being, which is good. So hopefully we can finally get a good green flag run in. But cramped him a little bit wide there. Almost got the wall. Might have actually got the wall. As Bryce Egan now gets down to the inside, and Campo Marsh looking to potentially follow suit as well. But if this thing does stay green, we should potentially see Kasumi Takashi catch the back of the field here in probably just a couple laps time, and that's really going to be interesting, especially now with some more challengers like Durrani and Grattan in the mix.
How about some of these drivers? We mentioned Takashi all night long, but how about Durrani? How about Stewart? Was a lap down in 22nd at one point. Got the lap back right before the halfway caution now. He's in third. Bryce Egan has a shot. Crampton, I think, so has a shot. And fifth, Ace Racer, David Dixon, Caleb Marsh. And Williams is a lap down, I believe, in the 00. Williams is 1 lap down, and then Sam Dio is 3 laps down. So we still have 15 cars on the lead lap, and we are
there we go,
back
one
under caution. Might be the 14.
Leonard Kochmer again.
He's had a rough night.
Well, this is exactly what Stuart Grattan wanted, because now he's only 2 spots away from the race leader. He's going to have a shot at winning this thing now.
And luckily, I think that one was a natural caution and not something with a damaged glitch car. So that's a good thing about that one. And it's getting interesting. Second half shenanigans, and Takashi still leads. Let's see what happened for this restart, or for this caution, and then get back to the restart in the little 250. Well, let's just copy and paste the last caution. We did a few laps this time, but same deal went wide, and this one is all on Kochmer. Just slid up the racetrack off of turn number 4, and it's one thing to turn someone once, it's another thing to just turn that same driver a second time, and basically won him right through the same skid marks, and another big shot for the 89 of San Medeo. And I don't know how he is still winning after this one, and this one, Kochmer got into the outside wall as well. So there's not else much to really say, but Kochmer's not going to be happy with multiple people, and especially San Medeo, for multiple times here at Anderson Speedway.
Well, Leonard Kochmer, we're back at it again, gets into the 89 of San Medeo once again, and pretty much just a repeat of what happened in the last caution, but a little bit more speed to that one, as they both get into it once again, and the bad night for both of them continues here at Anderson Speedway. A tough break for the both of them. We got a few laps in this time, though, so maybe we're getting to a green flag run, hopefully maybe here sooner than later. But it's going to set us up here for another restart.
Gonna be another restart, and hopefully those two in the back can stop doing that, because I think if they can, then we can get a nice green flag one in. So let's go ahead and get to the restart here in the feature. Welcome back to the Anderson Speedway, and what a night it has been. Short-track tempers are flailing, and we are going to have 75 laps to go, and honestly, we have so many strong contenders up towards the front. Takashi, Durrani, Glenn, Egan, and Crampton the top 5. Back green with 75 laps to go.
And Durrani's got a shot here. Oh, Grattan. He's got to be careful. They're going to go 3 wide. How about Crampton with this rebound, if he can get it?
That was fairly
that
smart
was
from
close.
Glenn. He backed out of that 3 wide. Very smart.
He lost positions there. That's a tough break for Stewart. He was gaining positions on each one of these restarts. He's going to try to move his way to the inside of Bryce Egan right here. He's got Ace Racer behind him. Good run for the 85, and now you got Crampton on the back bumper of Durrani as Takashi continues to pull away. Grattan going for fourth. Once again, a second and a fourth place battle going on here.
Crampton looking to rebound. He really shot out of a cannon there on that restart as he's now up into the second position. Grattan, after getting stuck up on the outside of 3 wide there, looking to make some ground back up as he gets by the 9 of Bryce Egan. Now looking to try and close in here on the 86 of Ryan Durrani. Kasumi Takashi, though, clearing away with the race lead now over a second to now the 05 of Travis Crampton. But we'll have to see what that 05 can do, especially once that 27 catches lap traffic if this thing does stay green, which I would definitely like to see happen, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But Grattan now up into the third position, and still a lot of shuffling going out here throughout the top 10 is now. How about Benny Watson now showing his face up here in the top 10?
Definitely some crazy stuff here tonight, and that's been one of those scenarios, and I think Crampton as we got some almost more 3 wide if they are faking me out here. And how about Tampa making some moves back inside the top 5 on Bryce Egan, and we'll see what ends up happening. I think Crampton still has a good color. I think Stewart has a good color. Jawani, Tampa, and Bryce Egan. How about David Dix on the inside of Ace Racer? And it's gonna be interesting. We have less colors, but eventually I can imagine that we will catch up to lap traffic once again. And oh yeah, we definitely will. We always see them barely in flames. So even though we have less colors, lap traffic will still be a factor here late in this feature event. And you know what, Stewart, this would be a fantastic job going from 22nd, a lap down at one point, and now in third and trying to chase down on Crampton, but he's being caught by Duani.
You got the top 3 drivers that started this race in the top 3 positions right now. Stewart started second, Travis started first, and Takashi started in third, and they are 1, 2, 3 right now, and this 27 is going to close in on lap traffic, and we'll see how well she can get around it. Crampton and Grattan are very experienced drivers, though. We'll have to see if they use that to their advantage. It looks like we got a pass back in there. Got David Dixon making a move there on Bryce Egan. Benny Watson up to the 9th position. He's also had a good run. I like to see that. Promoting the new album dropping at midnight tonight. Little shameless plug right there, but I'm allowed to do that. It's my channel that this race is going up on, so I hope you all enjoy it. Releasing at midnight tonight, my 4th album that I've written and recorded. Very excited for it.
We
will be seated, we will be listening, because it's going to cook.
Oh yeah.
I hope you all think so.
And so far this night has been pretty crazy, and it's been cooking, and I think we are not done yet. A little bit of a break here as we are waiting on catching up with the lap traffic, and unfortunately the first one will be the 89 of Nicholas Samadia, who's had a struggle bus type of night. Didn't make it from the heat, has gone to LCQ, won LCQ, was up front at one point, damaged his race car, and now it's 3 laps down and might go a 4th lap down here at the hands of Takashi. But I will say we've had a lot of new drivers in 2nd through 6th here tonight. But one of them that is staying up front, and really the 2 that have stayed up front, is Takashi and Travis Crampton. So I think these 2 are definitely going to be the factor here. But as we've seen all night long, lap traffic will be a factor. And Takashi has to be very careful and very smart with Hernandez. And cannot be doing that, as that's going to allow Crampton and Stewart Glenn to close back in.
Yeah, and this is going to make things very interesting. And Travis Crampton starting to close back in and just waiting for that 27 to make a mistake in the attempt to get around the lap traffic. And Stewart's also going to probably close in on this as well. The 27 has a lot of trouble getting around Hernandez and these guys, and it's closing in to almost within a second now. You see the advantage that Crampton gets just diving it into the corner. That's something that Takashi's not doing, and it's now under a second here at the Anderson Speedway. That 05 is coming fast.
Crampton really rolling in that 27 as Takashi goes wide once again, following in the tire tracks of the 88 of Hernandez, and Crampton now under half a second behind the 27 of Takashi. And yeah, Crampton really kind of just sending it in a lot deeper into the corners and managing to make it stick, and that's honestly I think where he's gaining a lot of his time. But he's starting to slip wide just a little bit here in these corners, maybe overdriving it just a little bit, and Here comes the 23 as well as Stuart Grattan looking to potentially try and close in as Takashi looking to try and finally get around Hernandez here to the inside of the 88 car. Maybe try and put a lapped car in between herself and the 05 of Crampton.
Good job from Hernandez of getting out of the way for the race leader. And this is definitely going to be a factor. I think these top three are really going to be contending all in flame. Grattan, Crampton, and Takashi. Crampton trying to diamond the corner. A little tap to Hernandez. Crampton running almost down onto the apron. Crampton has a fast car. There's no doubt about it. He can run really the bottom and then... oh my goodness!
Big send from Grattan! Wow!
I think he knows that it's less than 50 laps to go and he has no time to waste with Fernandez.
Yeah, I need these guys to know. I mean, it's only 45 laps at a track like this. You have said all night long, though we've been here a couple of hours tonight with this little 250, that these races are going to go by quick. And about a 12-second lap here at Anderson Speedway. And Takashi needs to get around San Mateo right here, because if he can't get around this 89, that 05 is going to close right back in again. And 27's still struggling, but he might have a shot right here. And she's going to be able to get it right here on the 89 of Nicholas San Mateo. And that might help her out here, because next car in line's a little ways ahead right there. Grattan going to try for second on the 05 of Travis Crampton, and Grattan's going to take it away as Grattan uses San Mateo as an advantage right there to get around the 05 of Travis Crampton. Crampton struggling there to get around the 89 machine. See how quick Grattan can get around this 89, but Stewart's going to have a shot at winning this race if he can get around San Mateo right here, which it looks like he will.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have ourselves a race on our hands for this little 250 with Stuart Grattan, who was last at one point in this race. Now up to the second position in that GRT number 23.
Oh boy, this is getting exciting here as Grattan with an absolutely great move there. Getting past Crampton and getting past San Mateo, now up into the second position. This 23 might be on the rails right now, and we'll have to see if he can close into Takashi. Travis Crampton slips back to third, but he could still definitely be in this mix. And then behind the two lap cars, we've got Durrani and Parton, which could still potentially close up if something crazy happens. It's not over till it's over here from the little 250, and still got about 40, 30-ish laps to go here, so these laps will kind of tick down pretty quickly, but still, anything can happen.
And of course, this is the only 12-second lap times, and it goes by really fast. Crampton goes wide, gets tight into the wall, and Crampton's car might be falling off here late in this race, and that might take him out of it. As Durrani's trying to get past San Mateo, and he will quit one from Durrani, and David Dixon is now side by side with Tanner Pun, trying to get a top 5 spot, and he does.
It's only 1 second between Takashi and Grattan right now. We'll see when that 27 gets to the back bumper. I believe it's Kobe Light that's at the back of the field right now. And no, it's Leonard Kochmer who was caught up in the accident, so this could get very interesting here. There's a couple of laps. Will the 27 be able to get around Kochmer right here, and will Grattan have a shot at making a move on the 27?
Have to see that 14 maybe not terribly, but maybe slightly off the pace with the damage done to the car, so we'll have to see if this 27 can maneuver around him relatively quickly, because Takashi does get kind of stuck behind that 14. Grattan, he is within a second of that race lead, so he's going to be ready to pounce if that 27 makes any kind of mistake. This time by, it's going to be 30 laps to go here from the little 250, and I don't know, it's just shaping up to be a good finish here.
We got Takashi, we got Gwen, and who knows, if things get crazy, we still got Crampton in the 05, and still got Durrani and David Dixon, and who knows, maybe we could get a late race caution, especially with some of the racing that we've seen throughout the field with Ace Racer and Ben Watson back here. It's been a fantastic night here tonight at the Little 250, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I'm surprised at how many people signed up. And I told Alice this multiple times, and I appreciate it. And it's been a fun night here at Anderson Speedway, just a couple nights before the actual Indy 250, well, a couple days before the Indy 250, and that's going to be a fun one, and this is going to be a fun finish. 26 laps to go, and Grattan is closing in on Takashi.
And that 27 is not really closing in on Kochmer, though, and I think that may actually be hurting the 27, because Grattan's starting to close in a little bit more each lap. I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows, but it's kind of overall favoring this 23 right now. I don't know, maybe Takashi's trying to manage the gap between herself and this 14 ahead of her, so that she can manage the gap between herself and the 23 Stuart Grattan, but time's running out for Stuart. Only 25 laps to go here at Anderson Speedway, and that's going to go by in just a flash here. This thing stays green.
Takashi trying to maybe go the distance, save a little bit of that tire life, as Grattan really driving that thing hard, maybe using up his tires just a little bit more, but 27 might have to pick up the pace, because that 23, like I kind of mentioned, it's kind of oscillating back and forth, but that 23 kind of seems to close in the greater scheme of things, as Takashi went a little bit wide there through 3 and 4. Grattan goes a little bit wide there through 1 and 2, though. It's just kind of going back and forth between the two, but I do think Takashi's slowly catching the 14 of Kochmer, and probably will catch him here in the next couple of laps, so could definitely have a pretty interesting battle for the race lead on our hands here in the closing stages of this one.
And this is going to be very interesting because we got the 14, the 17, the 73, the 79, and the 80. Ben Watson has dropped back like a rock out of nowhere in that 79 machine, and this is going to be the determining factor. We mentioned it all night. Lap traffic is going to be a big time factor and a big time decision maker once we got to these last two races. We saw it in the Consolation Race. It played into a big hand, not at the end, but throughout the race, and this is going to get good. Takashi to the inside of Kochmer. Grattan needs to close in really fast, and you know, Crampton, I like where he's at. He's not too far behind, but he's far enough behind where if something crazy happens with these leaders and lap traffic, he can pounce on it, and we'll see what happens. But this race is flying on by. 16 laps to go now in the 2025 Little 250 feature.
Yeah, Takashi's got to be careful not to let Kochmer back to the inside, because that could seal it. Grattan's got to be careful not to let Crampton by. He's got to find his way around Kochmer at some point as well, which he might have the opportunity of doing right here. And Takashi is pulling away from Kochmer right there, and it looks like Grattan will finally get around this 14 machine as well. Now it's Benny Watson next in line in this 79 machine. My driver looking to decide this thing, and it's double wide with Logan Williams as well. And Takashi's got to be careful. What decision does she make? This might be the opportunity, as they're double wide ahead of Takashi, and Grattan might have a shot here as 14's on the outside wall. But Grattan's a little wide himself, and now you got Crampton getting around Kochmer, and then you got Takashi going really wide, and now you got Grattan closing back in.
3 cars under a blanket, 238 laps complete, 11 to go, and 3 of them have a shot. All of them in different lanes. Crampton, Grattan, and Takashi in the feature. What a race this has been, and what a finish this might be.
They're all under a blanket right now with 10 laps to go. Takashi goes wide again. Here comes Grattan to the inside. Sending it there down the back straightaway into turn number 3, and Grattan's going to clear for the lead with 9 laps to go. Takashi still right on the back bumper. The 23 needs to try and find another way around. Crampton still up here in case something happens to our top 2. But now, Stuart Grattan's got the lap traffic to deal with, and up ahead is the 17 of Logan Williams. He goes to the outside. Can Grattan get down to the inside? It looks like he's going to be able to. If he can get by Logan Williams here, unless something crazy happens, he could walk away with this one here.
This could be very important for Stuart Grattan. And I say could because we've seen it all night long, and it's not over until it's over. And still with these lap traffic colors and these guys sliding up. If Stuart slides up, you know, I don't think he will. That car looks to be very good on the long run, and maybe that's what Stuart was doing. The veteran experience. Oh, never mind. He goes way wide in 3 and 4.
As this is far from over, will Grattan sell it? He's got only 5 laps left to go. Takashi's looking to strike here, and Grattan's got to get around Benny Watson now in that 79 machine, who no one's really been able to lap all race long. But only 4 laps to go for Stuart Grattan. He was 22nd, last place at one point in this race. He was a lap down, took advantage of all those restarts to get himself in this position, and he is in position to win this little 250 now. 3 laps to go here at Anderson Speedway. Like I said, you can't spell greatness without GRT. That might be the case here tonight, but Takashi's going to try to steal this one back after leading the most laps.
It's now over 2 laps to go. 23 one's wide, 27 goes wide, Stewart's in the wall! Stewart's in the wall, they take each other out!
They got into each other!
And Crampton's gonna take advantage!
Travis Crampton's gonna win this race! Unbelievable!
No way! No way that just happened!
Oh my goodness.
There is no way.
Well, I think we just submitted this race. Travis Crampton, he was the top 3 all night long. He is in the right position at the right time, and he will win the 2025 Little 250 Presented by Gainbridge feature.
Ain't no way, bro.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
No
It
way.
ain't over till it's over. That was 2 laps to go. Grattan overshot it, and Takashi could not make the pass cleanly. And Crampton was like, I'll take that away from you. How about that for Travis Crampton? That 05 machine, I know he's going to be happy about that one. We're gonna have a good toast in the Cracker Barrel a couple nights from now, I'll tell you what.
Oh my goodness. Did that just happen? Oh my goodness, and that took them out. Sugran and Takashi didn't even finish this one. They were done. Oh my goodness. Gran went wide. So did Takashi. But Gran got into the wall, and because Takashi was all the way up against the wall with Gran, just had nowhere to go, and Crampton's just snuck on by. And we were so busy talking about that, David Dixon is going to get second out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Good
run from
run.
David
Good run.
Dixon. Oh my goodness. Durrani, Egan, Pun in the top 5. Marsh, Andrew Williams, Kobe Light, Ace Racer, Bernardo de Oliveira in 10th, and then Watson in 11th. Oh my goodness. I'm speechless. What a night. What a race. It was a long night, but I hope you guys enjoyed that one, because what a late race shenanigan battle we just saw right there. Whew.
That was a great race to the finish right there. And, it drug on a little bit throughout the race there, but it was well worth the wait tonight to see that finish. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I've been doing this game for over a decade, and it still never ceases to amaze me. Stuart Grattan had a shot at winning this race, and so did Kasumi Takashi, who led the most laps in this feature, by the way. Neither of them are even going to finish top 10, and Travis Crampton was just waiting in the wings for something to happen. He's going to take it away. He started on the pole. He won his heat. Wasn't, the most laps led, but he's going to be your winner in this little 250, and I know he's going to be happy about that one. But there are 2 people who are not going to be happy. That's Stuart Grattan, Matthew Hubert, who has Kasumi Takashi in this race. Not going to be happy about what happened right there. That was, that not good. Not a good moment at all, but what a race. That was a lot of fun at the end. And thank you, Nathan, for putting this on. I know it's a lot of work, but I hope you all enjoyed this one, watching this at home. And, hey, we still got a couple more great races coming up this weekend. Of course, Indy 250 on Saturday. Can't wait for it. It's the best weekend of the year for racing. We're excited for it here.
Man, I don't even really know how I could put my thoughts into words. Just unbelievable. What a race. What a night here from the Anderson Speedway. And I guess the finish we just saw was the icing on the cake to it all. That was an absolutely spectacular race, I would say. Great battles throughout the field, a great finish. And, hey, shout out to Travis Crampton there getting it done. I said that he could definitely still be in the mix if something crazy happened with our top 2. And, to say something crazy happened might be a bit of an understatement. That was absolutely wild from Stuart Grattan and Kasumi Takashi. Definitely heart-wrenching for the both of them, but, I guess that's just short track aggression gone a bit wrong there, and Travis Crampton just at the right place at the right time. Gonna take the win here at Anderson and here in the little 250. And, Crampton was fast all night long, and he set himself up there in a good position there. So, a great win for Travis Crampton and a great race. And, yeah, just thank you so much for putting all the hard work and everything into this race, and I think the results really showed. So thank you so much for putting this on, and I just an unbelievable race. I had a lot of fun with it, and just incredible.
That was a race of all time. I've never seen that before in any test race that I did for this event. Never saw anything quite like that. This game, like I said, still surprises me. But what a race that was here at Anderson Speedway. Thank you for everyone that chipped in on this one. Thanks for Caleb and Alex for joining me up in the booth for all night long. And huge thanks to them for painting some of the paint schemes. And thanks for Hilljoe for painting some. Thanks for Travis for painting some. Thanks for Random J 53, who I know. He made April Hernandez's paint scheme. And then, of course, a huge shout out to Stuart Grant. He made about 15 out of the 44 paint schemes for this one, so almost half. And just a huge thanks for him.
Two of them took each other out.
And yeah, two of his paint schemes took each other out. So just huge thanks for everyone that made the schemes. This was my first ever thing I've ever done with customs myself. And it might have been a little bit rushed. We might do this a little bit earlier next year. But after a finish like that, I think we definitely should come back and give this another shot. Part of Indy 250 week, and what a race. The little 250 presented by Gainbridge. The Gainbridge car almost won. But in the end, Travis Clampton takes it in this one. And what a race. And we still got a few more races to go here for Indy 250 week. Thanks for everyone that signed up. Thanks for everyone that painted. Thanks for Alex and Caleb for joining me in the booth. And thanks for everyone for watching this one. This took a lot of hard work. Took 2 days for us to record behind the scenes. So there's that for you. But definitely a lot of fun. And this racetrack, it might be a cool mile. It might have a few hiccups. But the racing product was amazing. So thanks for everyone for chipping in. And congratulations to Travis Clampton on the Little 250 feature win here in 2025. Until next year, and until the Post Sprint Series here in a couple of weeks. Well, actually next week, but anyway, see you guys next time on AAG the channel.